Hail and well met! Welcome to Westgate Irregulars. This is the other half of the party. I'm Erin M. Evans. I normally play Tsetseliya, but starting today, when we're in Rashemen, I'm the DM now. You might know me as the author of the Brimstone Angels saga. I also play Farida on Untitled Champions Court of the Raven Queen, which is a good time for me to tell you about our sponsor. Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms is a strategy game that unites iconic Dungeons & Dragons characters from novels, campaigns, and popular shows into one epic adventure, which includes Farida, Havilar, and Mahen from the Brimstone Angel saga. The game is available for PC and Mac on Steam and web, Xbox One, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Epic, iPad, iPhone, and on all Android devices. Right now, they are running a special charity drive for International Rescue Committee, where you can buy a cool package of gold chests and get some cool character unlocks when you sign in, and help raise money for a worthy cause. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can check them out at idlechampions.com. And before I forget, you can also take the code at the bottom of the screen, type it in, get your very own Electrum Chest full of gems. Or if you want to type in the command, it will pop up in a special message just for you, and you can copy and paste it. So yeah, like I said, for more information, check them out at idlechampions.com.
Hi, I'm Eric Scott B, normally the DM of this campaign, but not tonight. Tonight, Aaron is taking over. And since I'm playing, I am going to talk about myself and my writing for a second, which I never do. I write dark fantasy with some sci-fi elements mostly. You can find me on Twitter at my name. You can find me at my website at myname.com. My most recent series that came out was the World of Ruin series, which has 4 books and is like a post-apocalyptic fantasy, Fallout meets Game of Thrones, that kind of thing. And I'm obviously a big Mass Effect fan. And I am playing Sevastyan, who is a noted NPC, who is an artificer, so it seemed appropriate. And I have my Omni tool, which I'm just going to pop on for fun. It has the blade and everything, and it lights up. So don't worry, I'm not going to wear this during the stream and distract Aaron with the glow. Yeah, that's it for me.
I'm Rhiannon Held. I write urban fantasy. The Silver series is Rhiannon Held, and the Amsterdam Institute series is RZ Held. That's a space opera novellas. And the number 5 in the series is coming out in April. So when I'm done talking, I will put the pre-order link in the chat. It's cool, and it's a good place for new readers to come in. If you are curious about my space opera, you can try it out. It's just a little novella. And I play Artemisia, half-elf sorcerer who really likes lightning. And our other sponsor that I'm going to talk about is Norse Foundry Dice. According to their website, the Foundry is instituted to introduce a series of stronger weapons in a realm where most warriors use plastic light weapons. When each weapon is picked up, you can feel the heavy weight of the metal in your hand, giving you undefeatable power and strength. And when you roll the dice, it feels like you're skillfully smashing the rigid armor and skin of the monster horde. Norse Foundry offers other cool gaming accessories as well as metal dice, and you can find their store and more about them at norsefoundry.com.
Hi, I'm Stephen Merlino. I play Krabanglir Sturge, a human arcane trickster and diviner. We have 4 different chances to win a giveaway today. One is the Phoenix Dice giveaway, a set of dice and tray of your choice from anything that they have on stock. To enter in that, you can look on our screen here and see what the you do !tickets and ticket. And for the other 3 giveaways, US only, I'm afraid, you can win a book, a fantasy science fantasy novel called Find My Way Home.
It's a ghost story. Ghost story.
Well, isn't it a ghost story fantasy?
Technically true, but horror.
Okay. A disorienting ghost story set in the 70s of America. As protesters against the Vietnam War, Joanna Bergman and Cynthia Foster plotted to blow up a New York City draft board. Joanna, backed out at the last minute, and the planned explosion killed Cynthia. Years later, Cynthia's angry ghost returns to confront Joanna. As Jo tries to figure out what her friend's ghost wants from her, she is hurled again and again back to the night of Cynthia's death. Publishers Weekly loved it, said that fans of counterculture narratives and ghost stories will want to take a look. It's also published by a very interesting publisher called Aqueduct Press, who describes itself as bringing challenging feminist science fiction to the demanding reader. And man, they've got some killer authors on their list, including Gwyn Garfinkel, but Nicola Griffith, N.K. Jemisin, Ursula K. Le Guin, and who was the other one? Nisi Shaw. These are all really high-powered, and one of these is my hero forever, Ursula Le Guin. So check it out. You can go to their website, check out aqueductpress.com, and see all these amazing authors. But this one is, you have 3 chances. There's 3 copies. Oh, I'm sorry. So 2 are on Twitch. So you type in !enter. And then there's another one that's on Discord in Tavern. And you have a chance to win a copy there. Anything I should add to that, Yang?
No, but you should probably take a look at the bot afterwards, because we are seeing some people are saying that !enter to enter for the book may or may not be working. You should see if there's a confirmation that's in your DMs, though.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so hi, I'm Ying Wang. I am a writer and a filmmaker, and I am playing Stong MacGuck, the barrel-chested, barrel-wearing, very hairy heir to the Murder Bear tribe. I'm also going to talk a little bit today about, we're starting to do we used to highlight a bunch of nonprofits and other charities here on the stream, and some recent world events have made us want to do that again. So this time around, we have opened up a Tiltify in order to raise money for the International Rescue Committee to support victims of the war in Ukraine. So if you are looking at us through the website, you could go to our Twitch page and then scroll down. There will be a link there. There should be a link there for the International Rescue Committee. And you just click donate. All proceeds go through to the International Rescue Committee to help ease the suffering of the about 1 million Ukrainian refugees that have fled the country, and to set up places like food, for medicine, and other necessities for them. So please consider giving if you can. Thank you so much.
Okay, so are we ready to get started?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. Guys, I'm so nervous, but I'm glad I'm doing this with you.
You'll do great.
Woo-hoo! Yeah.
Okay. So, as decided before, the 4 of you, the 3 of you, Stong, Artemisia, and Sturge, decided to set out for Rashemen. And you sought out Sevastyan because Sevastyan is from Rashemen, and more specifically, Sevastyan is from a place called Running Rocks, which is where Tsetseliya grew up. So your plan was to go and investigate Tsetseliya's past and see if you can figure out what made the Golden Raven, and whether there's anything you can do to pull her back from that, or to empower Tsetseliya further, or to somehow shift the course of this runaway train toward conflict with a evil chronomancer that also has the face of your friend. Excellent goals. To begin with, you need to leave Westgate, and from the things nobody wants to mess with the teleportation magic. I think this is a good choice. Just as a neutral observer from above. So you take a boat. You take a boat across the Sea of Fallen Stars to Aglarond. It is a long, long journey through occasionally pirate-infested waters, but it does bring you to a place that at least 2 of you know relatively well. You make it across safely, and you dock briefly in Veltalar. And if there's anything you want to do in Aglarond, now's when you tell me you did it.
Artemisia is going to send a message to her father, and he invites her for dinner at the house. Any of you who want to come can. Would anybody want to come along, or they're just going to leave her to her father?
Stone would come along.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Sturge will come.
Okay. So
Both leave me alone. Sebastian will come along and
Which-
look very awkward.
I was gonna say, which is worse, being alone in an inn for a night or having dinner with a complete stranger that everybody else kind of knows?
Yep.
Pick the second one. Okay.
So Marcellia is out of the house, so it's just her father, Pavan, and no rolls necessary. The DC is very low. You can figure out why he gets along with Marcellia and why he's no help to Artemisia, because he's very nice. Very, very nice. And he changes the subject anytime any sort of like politics or anything comes up, and he doesn't ask hard questions, and he just sort of listens to what Artemisia chooses to tell him and nods and says that she's really smart and she'll do really well. And boy, he's super nice.
Nice.
So Artemisia looks a little sort of like conflicted about this whole thing, because it's nice being with her father, but also like, yeah, he's never gonna get rid of Marcellia. So, and then back to the ship.
It's hard when you realize that your parents are deeply flawed people, even if it's in a nice way. Does anybody else want to do anything in Aglaron before we jump on the boat?
I just want to ask Artemisia, is your father extremely fashionable?
I would say not following trends, but very aware of them, because he's
I
a
feel
merchant
like-
and so he needs to command respect, but he's not going to be following the trends. Classic.
Does Marcellia dress him? Part of me feels like Marcellia picks his clothes out, but maybe that's a misunderstanding.
Well, she's out for today, so he can use his own
Fair.
judgment.
That's when he gets out his Hawaiian shirt. And
Yes! Sweatpants, Hawaiian shirt, let's go.
Because it's a Moonshay Isles shirt, we'll say.
Yeah.
All right, so you get on the boat. We're going to head north now to the independent city-state of Telflam. Now, this is in Fesk, which is mostly human area, but there are a lot of dwarves, a lot of orcs, so nobody is, at this point, nobody is particularly standing out. This is also the beginning of the Golden Way, which is a well-known trade road that leads from Telflam up through the north and on to Karatur, which is a different continent. Does anybody do anything when you're in Telflam that I should know about?
Yeah, so I think Stong will stop by the markets and just take a look at what sort of goods they sell. He's gonna try to find like a toy for Mirabelle, and if there's any souvenirs that are attractive, he would pick them up.
Okay. I'm of the opinion that you tell me what you find.
Awesome. So I think from what I remember of Telflam, they deal in mostly like really high-end goods, like from the east. So for example, like silks and smoke powders and teas. I don't think Stong knows if anybody enjoys teas in the group, so maybe he'll leave that alone. But maybe along one of the merchant paths, he sees one that specializes in wood carvings. And so there's a bunch of wooden dolls there of like warriors and wizards and dragons and maybe even like a little wooden mimic. And he browses them for a while, but none of them really like scream Mirabelle to him, so he doesn't pick up any of those dolls.
All right, the search continues. So from Telflam, you are going to continue up the Golden Way. And this again is a busy trade route. It goes up north, and the weather gets colder. It's early spring. It's maybe even solidly spring, but as you head further north, you notice it's a lot brisker. There's more snow on the ground. You come up to a lake and you cross over into Rashemen. Tsetseliya has never been forthcoming about her homeland, and she's used it with all of you as a sort of a mask, a screen to hide behind. You know, have you ever been to Rashemen? And who has? But some parts are exactly what you kind of expect. That's true, Sevastyan. This part's not for you. I wrote this part when you were still an NPC, so just roll. It is cold. The snow, as I said, is still holding on, despite the fact that everywhere else this would have melted. The forests are thick beyond the trade road's reach, and you feel very remote, even as you pass down the busy trade route. This is not Thesk. This is not Aglarond. It is not anywhere else. And just to kind of underscore this, as soon as you cross over, it's the tail of a lake, but it's a river at the point you cross it. You begin to feel something. Something about the magic in this place is strange, and you can't quite put your finger on it, but as soon as you cross the border, you know that you're in Rashemen. As you progress down the trade road, I keep saying route, I mean road, you start to see witches. They're always wearing their masks, which are all painted and carved differently. Some of them look like animals, some of them have patterns, some of them are festooned with feathers. They are always with a berserker, a big warrior, guarding them. And you see what Tsetseliya was kind of aping all along. They are remote and poised, and they radiate power. People give the Wicklaren a wide berth as they move through the cities, and the Rashemen all signaling obeisance. Sevastyan, as you see them, you definitely keep an eye on them. But I'm assuming you make no move to approach them.
No, I show them great deference. Like if any of them seem to be paying attention to me, like I will bow and offer the proper obeisances. I always have my mask on when we're near witches. In fact, as soon as we cross into Rashemen, I basically have that sucker on all the time.
And sorry, go ahead.
So are they like a priestess? Is it like is it like a priesthood? Is that how rare they are, or are they more like all the nobles or all the gentle-blooded people are witches?
They are the rulers of this land.
So they're like an oligarchy. They're pretty rare, but they're...
Yeah. The witches are all spellcasters. They are sort of a mix of being like a wizard and a priest. Or maybe a druid would be more accurate. And they are in effect the ruling class. There is a ruler above them, the Iron Lord, but everybody knows that he listens to the witches.
Right.
And are the witches like the Bene Gesserit? They're all women, and is there
all women? Yeah.
Okay, and so the Iron Lord, ruler.
Yep,
is
the Iron Lord.
A dude.
Yep, that they pick. You have definitely hit on a parallel there.
Okay.
A political figurehead.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
However,
do not mention such a thing in their presence, however, of course. Only with me.
Okay. And why are you wearing a mask? You're not a witch.
I am a vremyonni. I am from this land, and I am culturally required to wear this.
Why?
So
okay.
There is a group that Sevastyan belongs to, the vremyonni, the old ones. These are the wizards. So male spellcasters are either inducted into the vremyonni, and they are sort of cloistered in Running Rocks, where they create magic items and weapons for the defense of Rashemen. If a male spellcaster does not want to do this, they have to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to wear masks all the time, or only in public, or?
Wearing a mask is a signal of your status. In fact, so when people see Sevastyan wearing his mask, they are they're a little surprised. The vremyonni are allowed to leave under certain circumstances, and they wouldn't dare otherwise. So there is a sense that Sevastyan is on some important business, but it is a mark of status. If you are a masked witch or a masked wizard, then you are considered someone bound to this land in ways that a normal person isn't.
And the regular population does not wear masks.
No, they all seem like, regular people. They seem happy to have the trade. In fact, as you travel up the Golden Way, you stop in a town called Thasanta. And stay the night, and you watch the berserkers of a dozen lodges. They're fighting in some kind of ritual exhibition that seems very much for the tourists.
Oh, cool. So Stong would nudge Artemisia, and he's like, I wonder how we would do in the arena here.
Oh, interesting. Is spellcasting involved, or is it just pure physical strength?
So it is largely physical strength. However, they're clearly kind of being bolstered by some kind of magic. Some of them are sort of like tattooed with these runes that seem to glow before they do something really intense. And Sevastyan, these are the rune scarred. They are particularly powerful berserkers who are channeling the energies of the land.
I would not challenge them if you had the choice.
Oh, good to know.
Go ahead.
So in general, these berserkers, so Stong is like 6'7". In general, are the berserkers like about his height, like a little shorter, or like bigger?
They're generally shorter, like they're humans.
Okay.
They're definitely like, they've put a lot of effort into becoming very powerful warriors. They're very strong, but they're still, as far as you can tell, they're either human or mostly human. You see a couple where you're like, think maybe your granddad was a half-orc. But, at a certain point, so they're not like sort of otherworldly huge.
And
Stong will note that though.
Speaking of the arena, on the road, Artemisia has been practicing with Stong, and Sturge is also welcome if he wants. It's not his style of fighting, but Artemisia, she's figured out that the spectral wings kind of come out when she or somebody near her is threatened. And so she wants to be able to do that consistently. The trouble is that she's so unused to melee that when she stands next to Stong and, like, say Sturge was going to try to hit him, she tends to flinch and, like, it protects herself as opposed to protecting Stong. So it's been her goal sort of on the road with the practicing to get where she, like, actually properly protects her friends as opposed to just herself.
Yeah, maybe Stong, because he's like a missile magnet right now, he encourages Sturge to like throw daggers at him every day, and so he can practice like blocking those daggers. But you don't, and so they like just gently poke him, just like.
Well, she's got healing spells now, so she can use some of those. She can even make Mitzi deliver them.
So are you guys doing this every night, or are you like trying to get Sturge to do it like by surprise?
Ooh, by surprise. I like that. True training.
I mean, Artemisia would be here for like the designated practice time, but I imagine that if Stong decided to have this cool idea, he would just implement it.
Yeah, I actually
for your
really
own
like
good.
that. Yeah. Sturge just attacks me out of the shadows, like whenever, like just randomly.
Okay.
You have to be ready, Artemisia. Our enemies could ambush us at any time.
That's true, but I gotta be next to you. So, I
Just
mean,
consider it
Sturge, at
good
least
practice.
wait until we're next to each other before you attack by surprise.
Doesn't the Pink Panther have a henchman that he pays to attack him out of the blue?
I
remember
didn't know
that?
that.
I do vaguely recall that, yeah. I wanted to say one other thing. When we got into Rashemen, Sevastyan went around and handed out people little trinkets of like objects that he had built, like little carvings, and he said, I do not expect we will encounter any spirits, but if we do, you should show them deference and you should give them this as your offering, because they will expect it. They might not kill you if you don't give it to them, but not chance worth taking.
When you say offer it to them, do you mean throw it at them? Do you mean
I made sure not to make it magical so that you would not feel bad parting with it, Sturge.
Do you set it on the ground before them and back away? Do you...
I don't want to micromanage your investment.
Whatever
But
you
yes,
say,
you
that's
should
going to
do
be
that.
the thing.
All
Set
right.
it down. Okay.
So are we in a kind of the sort of place where we're not allowed, they like tourists, but we're not allowed to leave the main road or the main street, and if we do, we will be politely but firmly escorted back into the tourist zone?
Where you are, nah. But you are told, and Sevastyan probably tells you this too, the woods are dangerous. There are definitely things in the forest that will eat you, or worse. As evidenced by, and maybe this is the conversation that led Sevastyan to pull out these offerings. this land is magical and it comes out in weird ways.
Right.
Is it a Feywild kind of magical? Is it close to the Feywild, perhaps, or is it something else?
It is an interesting theory.
It would.
There are things about it that feel Fey, but it's kind of its own thing. So
Two
you
apples
had-
placed
oh.
on the ground together seem to come from the same tree, yes? And then he just walks away as though that answers the question.
Sturge
That's a
would call
thing
out.
that.
I think Stong stands there for like 15 minutes thinking about it, staring into space.
So from Tsetseliya, you head north, away from the trade route into those kind of woods. You are still on a road, though. You do stop briefly in a little town that called Toporin, where they have a very large inn, and there's a lot of bards playing. And Stong, if at any point you let on that, in fact, if you're carrying your loot, people will cajole you into performing. Do you perform in Toporin, or do you demur?
Yeah, but I think that instead of performing the loot, he would try to learn or pick up like a local regional instrument, and he thinks he's being good by, playing the local regional instrument, even though he's had like very little practice at it.
Let's give you a kind of nose flute, maybe.
Whoa, a nose flute!
Yeah.
Heck yeah!
That is an amazing image.
If you must.
Oh. So after you leave Toporin, though, Sevastyan leads you off into the wilds. Sevastyan, the farther you go away from the road, the closer you get to Running Rocks, the more you feel a sort of anxiety pressing on you. You urge your companions to be watchful, to be quiet, because you know that what you want most is to get to Running Rocks before anybody notices you. It is better for you to go in and be the one who initiates. The forest looms to the east, and the land rises, becoming more rocky under your feet. You have to cross a couple rivers. Another forest appears. There's a lot of forests in this place, guys. And you see in the distance these rolling gray mountains that never seem to get closer. But Sevastyan, you are keeping an eye out, and when you see the split boulder in front of you, you stop. Because you know this is the entrance. This is the way you're going to get into Running Rocks.
This is it. Oh, I did not expect it would be this difficult.
So is there some kind of spell or word that we need to pass here?
I shall see if I remember.
So I am going to just real quick remind you a couple things that you kind of discussed before, that Tsetseliya reminded you.
Yep. Sevastyan's mind was a little bit scattered from his long enslavement to a evil psychopathic enchanter.
I think that's good enough for you to know how to get in. But
Okay.
just as a reminder, be careful who you trust. Don't talk about Skaha.
Definitely.
And Sevastyan, you know that Lazar is kind of maybe kind of a complicated topic, but it's one
Right.
that's probably going to come up.
Yes.
And Sevastyan, you know you're going to have to sort things out with the vremyonni leadership.
Right.
Because you're not technically supposed to bring people home.
Oh,
Right.
so we are kind of. We were not going to be able to just walk around free country type thing.
Depends.
It might be complicated.
Okay, and do we have anything we shouldn't ask about? Mention Skaha, but if Lazar's name does come up, are we free to say, "Oh yes, we watched him die. You won't see him again," or should we just play down?
Sevastyan, you're pretty sure most people are going to breathe a sigh of relief. But that
he
is
was not
probably,
especially popular even before he turned evil.
but it would be wise to read the room.
Yes.
Artemisia had considered leading with that because she saw him die. So she would, Sevastyan, if she'll leave it up to you, but if you want to say, like, we're back to let you know that Lazar died and here's the one to tell you of it, then she'll, like, step forward and be like, hey, that's why I'm here to carry this news.
This is a good idea. I shall remember.
And
Yes.
if we're asked why we are here, our answer is
That's a
Well-
wonderful thing for you guys to discuss.
Yeah, I have thought about it a little bit, and
You mean you came all this way with no plan?
well, we're
Hello,
more of
Rowan.
an
You are
act
definitely
first team.
Tsetseliya's friends. I understand.
Yeah, but maybe we could say that we have Artemisia here, who is related to Tsetseliya, who is from this area.
Oh.
So we could sort of half-truth it and just tell people that we're looking into our friends or her half-sister's past and try to find her relatives.
I
Maybe?
I cannot promise that Tsetseliya will be a topic of conversation that will be any more comfortable than Lazar. First of all, when Tsetseliya dwelt here, she was Ilya, Lazar's son, not Tsetseliya, Lazar's daughter. And I believe everybody knew she was a half-elf, or at least that she had
Everybody
some elven
knew
heritage.
she was a half-elf. They
which-
refer, in fact, you remember people calling Ilya Lazar's elf son.
Yes. Elven heritage, not such good thing here in Running Rock. You need to be very careful how you speak about Ilya. Not Tsetseliya, Ilya.
Well, I will say, Sevastyan, you do know that when everything blew up, everybody found out that
Yes.
Ilya was Tsetseliya. So
It just
there
might be
people...
a smoother way into the conversation.
Oh, what if we took the opposite approach and we pretend like Tsetseliya is our enemy and we're here investigating in order to arrest her or stop her?
Actually, I like that idea. In some ways, we are the Golden Raven, being a kind of mirror image of her. I like that idea.
You have helped me, and I shall help you, but I myself am not interested in starting drama. I returned to homeland I was forcibly taken from because I want to live good, peaceful life in my homeland.
And you're going to tell them that you brought us along because you agree with us that Tsetseliya is a danger and
They have questions regarding Ilya. Wink. That is my plan.
What about this? Tsetseliya is lost, and to each of us, we have our own motives, because I don't think that I can pretend that my sister is an enemy. But it seems obvious why I would want to find her, and you two can project whatever motives you want as to why you want to find her, but we're looking into our past to find her.
But
Very well.
the reason I worry about such an approach is that maintaining that facade long enough, people will start to see through it. Whereas we are worried about the other Tsetseliya. And as long as we're referring to the other Tsetseliya, we don't have to explain to them there's two Tsetseliyas. Then, because that's the one we're really interested in anyway, is...
I have a quick question. Have you explained what's going on to Sevastyan? I'm assuming at this point because you're talking about it, but it occurs to me suddenly, I don't know that we ever told Sevastyan about the Golden Raven.
Stalin
I'm
just had his
assuming now you-
hands like around Sebastian's head the whole time, like earmuffs. No, I think we told him. I mean, anybody thinks we shouldn't have told him?
That's fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I just wanted to be sure, like, just because we kind of glided over that step. So, Sevastyan, if you have any feelings that should be expressed about this, there you go. You know now. Okay. So
your adventure nonsense is nonsense, and I prefer to let you handle. Not me. I build things, and I want to live happy, peaceful life.
Now, Sevastyan, part of
Yes,
the reason why I wanted to
Master.
come here was to inquire about the source of the Golden Raven's powers. So,
Yes.
do you think if I
Golden
inquired,
Raven, yes.
if I inquired about like chronomancy openly, would that be a bad idea?
It's a good question.
sorry, Sevastyan, you have all the info, but I'm the voice whispering in your head.
Yeah.
You know that the vremyonni are very interested in magic, and that actually this is kind of what you're hoping will happen. That bringing in outsiders is sort of a not done thing, but you have outsiders who know interesting kinds of magic, and that always, even if the rules are a certain thing, that in the past has been a way around that.
Yes.
So they may know that the most learned of the vremyonni may know things about chronomancy, and if they don't, they may want to know what you know about chronomancy.
They might help us search, even.
This is good approach. The vremyonni are very, very knowledgeable and talented with magic, particularly magic in the form of items. You'll see that I carry things that I have infused with my own power. Vremyonni like this. Many magical items in Running Rock. Sturge probably be very happy to be in Running Rock. Sturge, please try and resist urge to steal everything in sight.
I'll wait until the last day.
I mean, honestly, that's about all that we can ask.
Yes.
There is no last day when you live in Running Rock. Remember that I am staying here. You are leaving. My, this was a terrible mistake.
It does occur to me, Artemisia, that if you were to take the approach that you suggested, that there would be some people that would be willing to talk to you because you are sympathetic, whereas they wouldn't talk to us if we're looking to find, we're worried about her power, you're worried about your sister. There would be different people willing to speak with you for that reason. So I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm just gonna try to focus on the magic aspect. Just
I
wow
like that.
them with my magical ability. Get them to all really think that I'm some amazing magical scholar, and then learn everything I can about chronomancy.
Right.
All right. Are you guys ready to go in?
Yes.
All right.
If anyone asks, I'm a traveling actor on vacation with you, but that's what I do. I'm an actor. I obviously am here because of Tsetseliya, but that's my profession.
Right. If I recall correctly, she told me that you stole a map from her one time. So perhaps that is what you are doing to get your map back that you stole from her. Anyway, I'm sure you think of something.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Sevastyan, you remember that this is a sort of magical gateway.
Yep.
And you step into the gap between the boulders. You run your hands over the rock. You can't see the indentations that are meant for your palms, but you still feel them. They're very, very subtle. But you place your hands on there and you feel the magic move through you, and through the mask you're wearing, it recognizes you. And the door shivers and opens. And all of you can pass through now while Sevastyan holds this open. And if you want to, Yang, I forgot I had a map up. But if you want to turn on roll 20, I will put the what you see. Although everybody pretend there's snow on this. I made a point of getting stuff that has a Creative Commons license so that we are using it.
Oh, nice.
And please check out the attributions at the bottom of the screen because some wonderful people did these beautiful photographs. But pretend there's snow on this.
Yeah, I had Roll20 up for a while you were talking about.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So we all saw the map. Yeah. I have purposefully not been looking at Twitch, so I assume y'all tell me if something important happens. Okay, so you come out and you see ahead of you a slope that seems to be littered with caves and boulders beside a fast-moving river. You move a little closer through the crust of snow, and you can see that in those little dark spots, those cave entrances, that there are these cave entrances winding up a path up the granite slope. The mountains still rise behind this hillside, but you see much closer, and the forest is still looming there. On the west. You moved away from the eastern forest toward the west, which is the Ashenwood, if you're curious. But you feel like you've been transported somewhere else entirely. You also realize that along the slope, near those cave entrances, there are many masked faces watching you.
Whoa.
Before you can do anything, you are suddenly surrounded by a wall of force and a quartet, that's the word I'm looking for, of masked wizards appear. One of them is at the lead. He is kind of a little smaller, but sort of wiry. And he looks at you, and Sevastyan, he looks at you in particular. And he says, "Oh, brother, have you returned then from your little vacation?"
Brother, I have.
You recognize this person as Yuli.
Okay.
What is this? Did the witches send these?
They did not, brother. They are my traveling companions who aided me in freeing me from an unfortunate situation. They have come with questions, and I owe them a debt. And so I have brought them here to share their information about magic and to ask their questions of you and the others.
I'm just going to give this to you guys and not say, because you're all obviously watching him, but he looks at the other ones before he responds, like he's gauging their response first.
Right.
And he's like...
We're all wearing masks, so it's kind of hard to read, but...
Yeah, I was going to ask,
I'm reading people's body language. That's
there's a lot of body language.
Do they like posture, do some posturing or something? Is that
you
signs?
Can't see what I'm doing, but he's like very, like, he's very much projecting. And actually, I will say this, Yuli, who you guys don't know his name's Yuli yet, but he sort of looks at you and pops his mask up. And he's like, "Did the witches know about this?"
I pop my mask up too. I have so far avoided informing them.
Well, they're gonna know about it soon.
Of course.
Each of you is, the wall of force comes down. Each of you is...
Oh, I was going to say, while we were in the wall of force at some point, like Strong tries to like hit the wall, and then he's like, "Oh, so that's what it's like to be in one of these."
So that's what that feels like. Huh.
Each of you are, one of vremyonni comes to each of you. They're wizards, but they don't sort of strike you as the like scrawny noodle arm wizard type. These are guys that work with their hands.
They are vremyonni, not squishies.
They are all holding weapons. Mostly they are axes. Yuli has a spear. Yuli is escorting you, Sevastyan, most definitely. And they're, if assuming you're not gonna start anything, I am prepared for you to start something, but just in case, because I know some of you are
definitely
chaos
does not
monkeys.
want us to start anything. He looks around at everybody. He's like, "Please, do not start anything."
They're gonna lead you towards the slope. Artemisia, as you're walking, you look over at the forest. It's almost like you're not even thinking about the forest, but you turn towards it like someone's called your name. There's something about the forest that it's like it's almost like the wolf inside you is pulling you that way. You know what? That's what. Sorry, Yang Yang. I didn't move the little tab.
Yeah, I was wondering because you were talking about some scenery and pretend like there's snow on it, and then I'm like,
that's the right one. I
see.
forgot to move the little tab. So this is the approach to Running Rocks. Pretend there's snow on it. That's actually a place in Cappadocia called Pigeon Valley.
That's beautiful.
Pretty.
Which there are some beautiful snow-covered ones, but none of them are covered under a Creative Commons license. However, if you can't do anything about that because there's this dude right there. He's got an axe.
She's especially not wanting to be wolf right now, too. So, but she's got a lot of practice. Just keeping the wolf kind of just calm for now. Soon.
They lead you towards the slope, towards the cloister, and there's a large cavern that's on ground level, more or less. You do have to go up a little. Everything starts to slope upwards toward the mountains here. Sevastyan, you know this is a cave that's used for large gatherings. It's where you eat a lot of meals. They sort of pull you towards the center, and the cave starts to fill with masked wizards. They're all ages. You have grown men, you have old men. There are little children in half masks that climb the rocky walls so they can see over the heads of the young men with their faces hidden, who stand behind the old men that sit on these folding stools. Some of them are wearing their masks fully. Some of them have them clipped to their belts or tipped up on their heads. 4 men, though, enter and seat themselves along the far end of the cave. 3 of them are wearing their masks fully over their face. One is painted with stylized owls. One is shaped like a boar's head. One is patterned with lightning bolts. The 4th man comes in, and actually he's much older than the others. His hair is snow white. His beard is long and kind of starting to look a little scraggly, although he's kept it trimmed. But you can see the hand that grips the staff he walks with is quite strong. And he sits down on a folding stool and looks at you, Sevastyan, and says, "Dice, you've returned, brother. But vultures chase the homeward hunter. What is the meaning of this?" You, Sevastyan, know that you are looking at this sort of the Council of the Old Ones. The man who's talking to you is Igor. The others are Matvey is the one with the owls on his face. Nikifor is the one with the lightning bolts, and Feofil is the one with the boar mask.
I'm gonna need name tags. Like, I'm gonna need prominently displayed name tags at some point.
Get a notepad out and write things down.
It is easy enough once you know what their masks look like. You can tell who they are from their masks. I don't know what the problem is.
I'll put it in the chat.
Thank you.
Yes, honored brother. I have returned after long, harrowing journey. These companions of mine were kind enough to escort me back home. They have knowledge of certain types of magic that are very intriguing, and I thought you would appreciate the conversation with them before they leave on their way. Just out of coincidence, of course. And also, they have certain questions regarding a certain individual of our mutual acquaintance.
The man with the lightning bolt mask says, "Is this person of mutual acquaintance Lazardo Vizcaya?"
Him and one other, yes.
Igor makes a sound deep in his throat and says, "So, the little hawk flies free?"
Indeed, the little hawk flies far indeed.
The man with the boar mask, Feofil, looks them over and he says, "Are any of these from Thay?"
No, No, definitely not.
Are they connected to another of Rashemen's enemies?
They have slain one of Rashemen's enemies, in point of fact. I
Oh,
believe they are allies of circumstance.
Igor gestures at all of you, says, "They have mouths. They can speak for themselves."
Sevastyan
Why have you
bows
come?
and like backs away, and then looks at
Tell us.
Artemisia like, "You should do this."
Artemisia first is going to cast tongues on herself.
Okay.
And I don't think they'll hear her speaking Rashemen if they know common. But if they have side conversations, she wants to be able to know what's going on.
Nice.
And if somebody doesn't know common, then they'll understand her. And she doesn't try to hide it. They
Oh
can
yeah, I'm pretty sure they'd recognize that magic that you're using. So.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So she's going to sort of come to the fore a little bit and address all of them, all four, and say, I witnessed the death of Lazar Doviskaya. And
That gets like a murmur running through already.
And I thought that would be something you would wish to know about. If you wish details, I can provide them. But I think the important thing is that he is, in fact, quite dead. No hope of resurrection or any such thing.
Make me an insight check.
Okay. Not very high. 12.
Okay. So three of them have masks on. They're trying. You get the impression they're kind of trying to intimidate you to various degrees. Igor is looking at you very, very hard. He says, "This is something you saw.
Mhm.
How did it happen?"
Now, Artemisia would have thought through this carefully. Rhiannon is sort of working on the fly a little bit, but
You're okay.
she's not going to tell the whole story. But so I think what she would say is that I am half sister to Tsetseliya Doviskaya, and she.
You get another murmur.
She needed magic that only her father could perform, and they struck a deal, and he performed the magic for all of us. But in the course of
Not me. I had nothing to do with it. Just back away.
in the course of this, there was a great monster, and he was killed by this monster and we were able to escape. So he did some good at the end of his life in aiding his daughter and aiding us in our mission, but
So, can you make me some kind of charisma check?
Sure.
Persuasion or I guess is performance charisma?
Yes.
That's an option too.
I have extra persuasion though.
You're not lying, so you can't make a deception check, except for maybe that last part. I don't know how Artemisia specifically feels, but
So that's 25.
Nice.
okay,
Persuasion.
they are buying it completely. The man on the end with the owls, Matt Fay, pulls his mask up actually to look at you a little more closely, and he says, "Are you saying they ran together, Lazar and his elf daughter?"
When it was absolutely necessary.
But not from here.
No.
They didn't leave together.
No, absolutely not.
Interesting.
I can confirm those words. Lazar, when he took me from this place, it was not with Tsetseliya. He was alone until he had me under his control.
The man with the boar mask kind of looks over you, and you see him cast a spell. You feel detect magic wash over you, And he says, this is what they would say if it was Lazar's work that brought them here. If he was doing this. And the man beside him with the lightning bolt mask, Brother Nikapor, is like, this is not the skill of Lazar.
I would say I am Sturge. Pleased to meet you.
Nice.
And Sturge is going to speak to the one with the glorious nose, the boar, and say, as if the boar is the leader. Tsetseliya had some leverage on Lazar. The only reason she dealt with him was because she had the antidote to a poison that I managed to inject directly into his heart in order to kill him.
Stabbed him real good, he did.
So you are an assassin, says
No.
the man with the lightning bolts.
That's a disagreeable word to me. I am a fighter for justice, and I think you'll agree, if you, as you obviously do, know anything about Lazar, he deserved to die. The only thing keeping him from dying...
The old man cuts you off briefly. He says, these are harsh words. These are harsh words of a brother.
I can respect loyalty, but...
Sebastian's over there.
Yeah, you... make me an insight check.
Sturge?
Yeah, sure. Anybody, really, because you're all standing there.
Oh, shoot. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Probably. Hang on, I clicked off of a thing. Okay.
You got a 22.
All right, Sturge. Igor says this. He's a little flustered. And you notice that a lot of the room, like if you sort of glance out of the corner of your eye, you definitely see some of those vremyonni who don't have their masks on are like, brother. You don't get the impression Lazar was well liked here either.
But Igor did have some...
Igor, Igor seems like, yeah, he's a little... You don't get the impression from anything he said so far that he's going to sort of big up Lazar, but he doesn't really want to hear too far bad talk.
Right. Well, he's the one whose organization spawned Lazar, so I'm not going to say that out loud, but I'm going to say, I can respect loyalty. However, Lazar did not show any loyalty to his daughter other than an obsessive desire to make her life miserable and control her. In any case, he did many other things, and he was trying to kill us. So, she had the antidote. She was able to make a deal with him because she needed his help. That is the only reason she dealt with him. She had nothing but a desire to be rid of him, not to kill him necessarily, but to never see him again. He kept thrusting himself onto her, trying to control her. She finally got leverage over him, and it was in service of her, for the antidote, that he stumbled into the wrong, the maw of a hideous creature.
Sturge, with your 22, while you're telling Igor this, you notice when you say that Lazar made Tsetseliya's life miserable, Igor seems like someone who is very adept at controlling his expression. You kind of get a feeling that might be something everybody here does to a certain extent, but something in his eyes looks profoundly troubled. And he looks away and says, what is it you want here? You just come to tell us how Brother Lazar died.
No.
The boar mask man interjects and says, this seems like a very good way to steal our secrets for Faye. The guy with the owl mask that's up is just like, if they were Fayans, they would smell like Fayans. We're all thinking it.
Yeah, excuse me. Hi, I'm Stong Makuk, and, I'd like to think that we're also here to help teach you some magic. We're all really powerful magicians in our own right. Right, guys?
Well, and also, we have a favor to ask of you. I hope that bringing news would be welcome, and that information about other magic that would be welcome. But my sister has gone missing, and I am terribly worried about her. And I had hoped that those who knew her as a child would perhaps have insight into the places she may have gone, the people she may have known who would know where she has gone. So I come in hope that you can help me find her.
The man with the lightning bolts, Brother Nikifor, snorts. But he says, well, you must stay now, because this is a business for the witches. We must send for them, and until they come, you cannot leave. But you cannot leave anyway unless someone opens the door for you. And he gives you a look, Sevastyan.
Stong looks at Sevastyan too.
We all look at Sevastyan.
So,
Yes, I am Sevastyan.
you may do what you do. You should not bother people who are working. You should stay out of the woods because... He kind of looks at Artemisia and Sturge. He goes, you seem very breakable.
Not
They
wrong.
are. They are.
And mind your manners. And then he's going to look at you, Sevastyan. He says, you we must discuss further.
Of course. Of course.
And so Nikifor and Fiafel, the boar-faced guy, and Igor stands, kind of cracking joints, and they lead you away to a smaller cave. Matfei, the man with the owl mask, however, walks up to the three of you and says, "So, new magic. I am the teacher of the apprentices. I would love for you to come and show my students what you know."
We would love to show your students what we know. Can we get like 1 second real quick? Like, is it gonna be like right now?
Oh no, they're climbing the walls, the little maniacs.
Oh, wow.
I'll just go get them to go back to class. You sort yourselves out.
Well, thank you.
He
Appreciate
is
it.
just to give you a little bit of a picture. He's younger than Lazar. He's older than all of you. He's probably like in his 40s. He's a little heavy set. But he's the kind of thing where you wouldn't want to take a punch from. Maybe Stong would take a punch from him. But I don't know a lot of people Stong wouldn't kind of enjoy a brawl with. But he also doesn't seem like someone who's inclined to throw a punch. He's like probably like if you're gonna have a teacher, he's a nice guy.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, interesting. And he's got the owl mask. Interesting. Okay.
How long, sir, have you been the trainer of apprentices here?
Since I was a very young man. It is
You
what I'm good at, explaining things.
Yeah, how
You
many
would-
summers is that? Like 40
20?
summers?
20, 22, 23, 25?
If I do the math, would I think that he probably trained Tsetseliya in her male form?
Ah.
Definitely. He definitely taught Ilya.
Ilya. I say, yes. You would have taught Ilya.
I'm not gonna make you roll for it because he's not as good at hiding it, but he definitely gets a moment of like, shit.
I was gonna
Like,
say,
yes.
like, is Sevastyan doing his thing, like, in the back?
Oh, they took me away. You're on your own now.
Says, yes, we can talk. We
Okay.
can talk.
Not
but,
now. Is that what is he saying? Not now.
You're saying well, you're going to explain
yes,
things to
yes.
my students, and then we have time to talk. You help me with my lesson. You free me up.
That's fair.
Excellent.
So he's gonna go pry some wild little 10-year-olds off the wall.
Okay, just real quick.
So you guys can talk amongst yourselves.
Sturge
man,
is,
Mirabelle would love this
Sturge
place.
is studying the way he walks, his mannerisms, the way he talks, so that the magic Sturge is going to show is an imitation of him.
Oh, they will love that.
Yeah.
So when Matt Faye steps aside, Artemisia is gonna talk to you two and be like, tell the others I'm gonna go like freshen up. I'm sure looking at me they believe that. I'm looking for the mercy closet or something. I gotta run. And I don't want them to see me and sort of connect that because it leads back to people that we're not mentioning their names here. So I'm just gonna step outside and have a quick run, and then I'll be back before we need to talk to apprentices. So just cover for me. Tell them that, yeah?
So like everything here is just like a series of caves, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And the post.
Like Stong wants to kind of like just Artemisia, are you just like unable to handle this level of accommodations? Like I didn't see like a really nice hotel here, so if you're searching for like a really 5-star place, like I don't think they got it.
I have adventured on the road before, and so I understand about camping in less than stellar accommodations. I will admit, when we went to Roger's place and the rock soup, like bad food was a little bit on me, but I understand about that. But no, it's the wolf is just she really needs to run. That's all. So I'm just going out in the trees to.
That's
to
not
run
what you
for a
just
little bit.
call like I can't handle the sewers. Gotta peace out. Okay, got it. Well, before you go, I just want to point out one interesting thing. Like, so real quick, Igor's mask. What was Igor's mask again? The old man?
Igor wasn't wearing his mask, it was on his hip. But
Okay.
if you looked at it, and I don't know that I wrote down what Igor's mask is, so I might have to make this up, which is fine. This is what I do for a job. It's all good.
I mean, I could continue on if you need a moment.
No. So, Igor's mask, let's say Igor's mask, so Tsetseliya's mask that she wore has like kind of these stylized triangles on it. And Igor's mask is more like that one than the other ones that are sort of like carved like animals, right? It's got, oh man, I just realized this is in one of those young Tsetseliya stories, what his mask looks like. So we're gonna say it's got like wavy lines, and someone can correct me in the chat if I got it wrong, and they've been holding on to this detail. So it's a pattern of wavy lines, and then a sort of like, it's almost like a starburst in the center. So it's more like stylized than the others than those others that were up there that had like recognizable elements. This is it's maybe an older style, or maybe it's a signal of what he does. You're not really sure how they're defining these things.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Igor has a mask with a pattern of lines on it.
Okay. So besides Igor's mask, did you notice the other three were like an owl, a boar, and lightning bolts? And like Artemisia, you're like lightning person, and Sturge, you've got your owl, and I can turn into animals, and I'm kind of like a boar. Is this just a coincidence?
Roll me. Sorry, I was gonna say you could roll me an insight check.
Oh heck
Or-
yeah!
Artemisia is just gonna say, I do want to speak to the man with the lightning bolt mask. I'm
1, 2,
curious
dirty
about-
20.
Song, you want to see a pattern in this, but deep in your heart, you know it's probably random.
What are the odds? Yeah.
But maybe a part of you is like, this is like a sign that we were supposed to come here.
There we go.
Yeah, I think Stong's taking it as at least a sign that you should demonstrate like your chain lightning for the lightning bolt mask person.
Oh my god.
Like you two
I
could be
was
best
curious about
friends.
his magic. So
Okay. So that's 3 places we're gonna go. So I'm going to do Sevastyan's interview first. Then I'm going to do the classroom, and then we're going to do the woods. Okay? Okay, so Sevastyan, you are pulled into one of the smaller rooms off of this great kind of conference center. It is, they were talking before about accommodations, but these caves are built for people to live in them. So there is furniture in here. There are chairs. You, however, are made to stand. The old ones take their spots. Before you can speak, Brother Nikifor casts on you. He casts another detect magic, and then he casts true seeing. Brother Fiafil actually casts Zone of Truth on you.
Okay.
So you can make a roll against it, but you're probably better off failing on purpose,
I think I'm gonna fail on purpose.
It's one of those things. It's like you can do it, but he'll know you failed, and you will have kind of a little bit disobedient there. So
Kind of tensed a little bit, but I'm like, no, this is normal. I knew this would happen.
Brother Nikifor pops his mask up, and he is a man with a very angular face, really pronounced cheekbones and a sharp nose, and very heavy eyebrows, and a dark beard that he's got very nicely trimmed. And he says, "Where is Lazar Dovaskaya really?"
As far as I know, he is dead in another world, consumed by a terrible monster. That is the story I was told.
Brother Fiafil asks you, he says, "What was Lazar doing? Why did he leave this place?"
I will answer to the best of my ability, for who knows the mind of Lazar Dovaskaya except Lazar Dovaskaya. But to my knowledge, he was attempting to recapture his child who had fled and gained powers of her own to this distant city called Westgate.
Is that where you've been?
That is where I have been. He abducted me by use of his enchantment magic and took me with him as his unwilling pawn and servant.
You see Nikifor and Fiafil both kind of glance at Igor, but Igor is only looking at you. He says, "Do you know where his notes and his mask are? Those should be here."
I do not know. I suspect that they are in the possession of his child. But I do not know where she is at the moment.
Brother Nikifor comes right up in your face, basically, and looks you deep in the eyes, and he says, "What are these people really doing here?"
They are seeking information about their friend, Lazar's child.
I want to look at the rules for the Zone of Truth real quick and make sure. That's actually
what
fair.
I think. That's what I think.
That's
they're here
actually
for.
fair, because you do know about the Golden Raven, but you do know that the Golden Raven is an alternate Tsetseliya. So actually, no, I'm gonna say that seems like it totally works.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice dodge. So they kind of look at each other, and Igor sighs and he says, "You don't know where Ilya is."
When last I saw her, she was in Westgate, and that was some time ago. She helped free me from Lazar's yoke, despite all that passed between us years ago.
Do you trust these people?
Stong, absolutely, I trust Stong. Artemisia, mostly. Sturge, I keep an eye on. They are folk of good heart, I believe.
If this foolishness leads to Rashemen's failure, no, Brother Sevastyan, it is on you.
I understand. I would never knowingly endanger Rashemen.
It is, you are free to ask them questions, although I can't promise they're going to answer you, because obviously you're basically talking to the board of directors.
Mm-hmm.
But I will make a point that, like, while they are interviewing you, there is space here if there's anything you wanted to ask.
Well, I explained to them that Sevastyan seeks to return to his home, to the home that he knows, and use his talents in service of Rashemen. And he is only looking for peace and to continue on the life that he knew. He's a little conflicted about it, but he's still like, this is the path I'm on. I need normalcy right now. And he would like to know what has become of his workshop, because when Lazar took him, he had recently started working in his own workshop, and he doesn't know what became of it now. And he broaches that subject kind of gently, cautiously, like, so you, I will be here for a while, and I was wondering, my tools are still there.
We will sort it out.
Of course,
says Brother
of course.
Igor. Brother Nikifor says to you, like, we gave it to Rufum. You weren't going to be using it. We thought you had just, decided to go all jajama on us.
Well, it was not my decision.
The empty nest is free to be picked apart for the next bird. But we will find you a place.
Thank you, brothers.
They, by the way, do not seem to have picked up on your wobbliness about this.
Mm-hmm.
They think you're definitely, like, glad to be home.
Mm-hmm.
Because who wouldn't be? This is where you're supposed to be.
Yeah. Maybe a little nervous, like, because this is a big deal.
Yeah, but you're always nervous.
I'm always a little nervous.
And also, for at least for Nikifor, he's like, as it should be. Probably Feofil too, but Feofil doesn't take his mask off a ton, so who knows what he's thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But they gesture that you can leave, and you can go back out into the sort of large gathering cave. However, the others have left. So you can think about where you want to go next. But I'm going to jump over to Matfei's classroom.
Great.
Okay. So
before Artemisia left, I think Stong would offer to do like a telepathic bond ritual between the three of them, so that at least we have some form of like communication in case something goes wonky. So Artemisia, Sturge, Artemisia, do you want to establish a telepathic bond between us so that we can communicate? Remember, it doesn't like just pick up whatever thoughts you have. You have to actually like choose to say something.
Yes.
Will it transfer to the wolf?
I don't see why not.
that's still you.
Okay, just so you're aware, the wolf, I mean, she'll probably be pretty chatty. I'll do my best, but...
Well, this will be an interesting experiment. See what happens. What's the worst that can happen?
I mean, that she annoys you by, like, narrating every bunny that she eats, but okay.
All right.
Oh, wait.
Okay. I'm going to move the little token thing, because you guys are gonna go get up close with the cave houses. Ignore the power line there. They don't have power.
That's a clothesline.
Yes, exactly. It's a clothesline. You usually see some vremyonni robes, some vremyonni underpants hanging out to dry. Someone's spare mask is clipped up there.
That
No,
is
they
cool.
don't have spare masks. You need that one. That one's important. Okay, so the two of you follow Brother Matfei down along the edge of the slope, and it winds back up. You come to a long, narrow cave that's oriented towards the sunlight so that the rays of the sun actually illuminate all the way at the back a smooth slate wall. There are sort of complex diagrams and notes chalked over it. There are some runes and what you think is Rashemen kind of explaining what it is that's drawn here. There's a score of young boys in those little half masks that you've seen. And as soon as they see Matt Fay, they sort of scurry to mats that are laid out on the floor and kind of settle down.
So first impression, like, are these kids really well disciplined? You know, are they well behaved, or do they seem more carefree?
They seem like relatively well disciplined, but they're kids. Like as you're walking by, they're fidgeting, they're whispering to each other. You see a couple like poking each other and annoying. They're turning back to talk to each other, but when Matt Fay claps his hands, they all pay attention. You come up, you stand in front of that chalkboard that's covered in arcane symbols, and Matt Fay says, "We have a special lesson today. We're going to discuss permanency of spells later, and for right now, we are going to listen to our guests who come from outside Rashemen." And the kids all kind of whisper, "This is Brother Stong. This is Brother Sturge. They are different kinds of magic users." I'm assuming you've kind of given Matt Fay a overview of the kind of thing you do. Mm-hmm. This Stong does magic called a bard, and Sturge says he has the divination magic, much like Brother Tarrant does sometimes, but also something called arcane trickster. So I will let them describe the magic that they use and what is in the world outside Rashemen. Go ahead.
Stong, you go.
Oh, please, after you, my friend. So I actually had like two ideas, like depending on if the kids were like hardcore, you know, like real hard to impress or not. But Sturge, please.
So here's
You go
how I'm
first.
going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna make me some kind of a skill check. It might be a performance check. It might be an arcana check if you're really trying to show off your knowledge. But you think about what you're gonna do and you make that check. I'm gonna add that to how impressive the thing you do is, and that's gonna determine what the kid's reaction is.
Okay.
Because you told me what you were going to do, that's why Stong wants to go second. Like, I will help you. Like, we will do it together.
Does what's his name?
Matt Fay?
Yes, the teacher. Does he have any obvious jewelry or anything on?
I'm gonna say, he's definitely wearing some rings. There's one in particular that has like kind of, it looks like maybe it's a polished agate. Everybody here seems to be potentially carrying magic items. But yeah, so he's got some rings on.
All right.
And everybody's also wearing some pretty like basic, robes of a nice quality wool. But they're all basically wearing the same outfit, more or less.
Mm-hmm. All right. Sturge is going to first of all say, "Children, it is a pleasure to be here. I wish to share with you a bit of illusion. Illusion might be the most powerful." Yuri, what is it?
What? Stud, what happened to your nose?
Oh. You mean, why is it so short? Well, it was, in fact, chopped off when I was young. It used to be glorious. It used to be easily this long. Can you imagine the glory of such a nose? But alas, it was chopped by a carrot chopper. And I'm left with this tiny stub. Well,
In Rashemen, your nose is quite big, actually.
ah, well, it's glorious, isn't it?
I want a big nose when I grow up.
Yes. I can make you one. I'll show you. Illusion can do many things, include make a large nose. Now, behold, as I become none other than your teacher. and then he's just going to do a disguise self and become Matvey. He's going to bluster. He's going to use all of his mannerisms and the way he walks, but he's going to change his personality to kind of a bumbling, blustering fellow who's like angry with children. And he's going to say things like Yuri, sit down, put that hand down. Vladimir, stop tormenting your neighbors. Stand in the corner, you little snot nose. And he's going to use his comedic abilities to get them howling with laughter.
I think to assist you, Stong is going to polymorph himself into an owl that kind of looks like the owl mask from Matt Fay, and then he wants to fly onto like Sturge's face and like perch as if he is like the mask. He, like grips Sturge's nose like underneath the illusion with his like little talons.
Okay, so Sturge has advantage on performance. I'm going to
Nice.
especially
Nice.
so 23.
Very nice. So the at first when you say you're gonna do disguise self, the kids are a little like, oh, like maybe they've seen that before. But your disguise self is primo. Like they are like, whoa. And then you're really funny on top of it. And then an owl comes. Stong, this huge half orc, turns into an owl and then like perches on your face. And they're like, they love it. They love it. And you see a bunch of hands shoot into the air. So you don't know these kids' names, but you can call on them. And I will tell you what they say.
Okay. I'm going to have to take the owl off my nose.
Stong gets off and turns back into Stong.
You there with the tiny nose.
Do you have fireballs where you're from?
Oh yes. Fireball's my favorite. Yes.
What do you eat?
What do I eat? Well, one of my favorite things is boiled quail's eggs with a little bit of pickled relish around the edge on an end of a skewer, one at a time. When I'm really feeling it, I'll snort one up my nose and swallow it that way without even chewing it.
It's true. It's true.
Yes, you there.
One time I almost touched the otter spirit's pelt. I had an offering and everything, but it swam away. And the boy next to him says, "No, you didn't. No, you didn't. That was just a vodyanoi." And they start poking each other. And then
one more question, you.
They said you knew Brother Lazar. How did he die?
Do you want to dramatically reenact it, Sturge, for these children? Is this age-appropriate content for them?
I'll just do a silent image of the whole thing right here. They'll see his guts strung out across the... No, I'm kidding.
You do like the airplane version of it? Or like skip over all the gory, all the like upsetting bits. So you see him fall towards the mouth, and then you cut to Artemisia going, "Ah!"
Yeah.
I mean, Sturge, do you have your puppets with you? This is the perfect time.
I want to do a little read the teacher thing here, a little glance over. When they ask about Lazar, I mean, is he like...
He's kind of wishing they were asking you more questions about like actual magic, but they're like in the 8 to 10 range.
All right.
But they clearly are going to be asking. He kind of gestures like, go ahead, because these kids they know the gossip enough that they're going to ask.
I'm not going to tell them the truth. I'm going to tell them that he caught a sneezing disease, and he sneezed so hard his head actually exploded.
The kids are all like,
yeah, just like a balloon.
Did his mask explode too? Is that why you didn't bring his mask back? Did it explode with the sneezings?
When he sneezed, that last sneeze projected his mask over the nearest mountain. We've been looking, can't find it. It was a big sneeze.
Wow.
I know sneezes.
Ugh. And my face just like, oh my god.
I think
Okay,
Stone is
this
also impressed. Like, he believes Sturge too, and he's like, whoa.
Don't
Really?
ever get that disease.
Oh my god.
There is one kid that like is like politely raising his hand, but you did say only that was the last question. So.
You know what? I'm going to make an exception because I respect the look in your eye, young person. What is your question?
He stands up. This is clearly like you get the impression this is like teacher's pet a little bit. Like this is the kid who's really here to learn. He says, "We are learning about permanency in magic. Have you ever made a magic spell that stays and does not go back into the weave? Because that is what we are supposed to be studying." All the other kids are like,
permanency.
Yes, I mean, I definitely have at least one.
Ah, you're Pegasus. Is that
Yes.
him? Yes.
It'll take me a little bit to summon it if you want to see it.
Oh, I think they'd like that.
So Stone steps back and begins the process of summoning the Pegasus. It takes like 10 minutes.
I will say this. Permanency is, I find, unnecessary. Illusions are transitory. Illusions come at your beck and call. They go when you dismiss them. I would say that, yes, some illusions can be made permanent, but I've never needed one or wanted one. I've always enjoyed the ephemeral.
"Are ephemeral illusions good for fighting fan necromancers?"
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, they are suckers for an illusion.
You make me a persuasion check.
Persuasion.
Oh, dang.
Nice.
That kid might grow up to be an illusionist. You see a light come in his eyes behind the little mask. Like he never thought about this. He always thought illusion was like, that's for dilettantes. But now suddenly he's like, wait, whoa.
Yeah. A 26 changes lives.
Yeah, changed his life for the
Passionate argument for the flexibility of illusion.
Oh my God.
It has taken hold. So the Pegasus, you summon the Pegasus,
Yeah.
and the kids all go like,
Now, you know, to go with Teacher Sturge's point, this may look like a Pegasus on the outside, but actually, it's a fiend. He's just permanently bound to my servant. It's okay. He's permanently bound to my Sturgis.
Is it a demon?
Technically a fiend. Not a devil or a
Matt Faye's
demon.
like, it's different. It's called, you have to understand, it is a long time ago. We are the Roma Viri, and we battled with Nar and the demons, and it didn't go well for us. It's not a thing we like here, the fiends. But I see yours is different. It's different, children. It's nice. It's nice. But this is not magic that we do here. We don't need to do this magic here.
Do the children not want to come up and pet its pretty mane? It will hate it. It will hate being petted by kids. So it's actually kind of like a victory over the fiends.
I think if it hates it, we do not want the children getting bitten.
Oh, it won't do
biting.
that.
Okay.
See, it's under my control.
How about we send them out with the Pegasus? I'm suddenly Swedish. I'm sorry. We send them out into the sun with the Pegasus, and then we can talk.
Pegasus rides.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, next level. Let's do it.
I meant for them to pet it, but okay, they're out.
I mean, the Pegasus would die to have so many children riding it, pulling its hair and scratching it and yelling in its ear. It is going to be a great punishment for this fiend.
You understand? I don't want the children to be hurt.
Oh, the Pegasus won't hurt them.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the Pegasus is like.
Damn it.
So it is 8 o'clock. So I think this is probably a good time to take a quick break. And when we come back, we can do the conversation with Matfei and the visit to the woods. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Cool.
Awesome.
So cue us up for a break.
Okay.
I don't know how long the breaks are. You can remember. But we'll do it, and we'll be back soon.
10 minutes. Don't go away.
Welcome back!
Yay.
Here for the second half, Westgate Irregulars go to Rashemen! At this point, they have entered Running Rocks. They have encountered several of the masked wizards of vremyonni, and they are starting to tease out information about Tsetseliya's past in the hopes of discovering what makes the Golden Raven, and how they can defeat her. Before we start, there's a couple things we want to hit. Remember, we have some great giveaways going on! Cool things that you, viewers, can win.
And we also
if
just
you
got 5
enter-
gift subs from Original Angston.
Oh, man.
Thank you so much.
Original Angston! Also, congratulations on winning the ICP giveaway. I was very happy for you when that happened. But speaking of giveaways, if you enter the code !ticket into the chat, you will enter to win a dice set and dice tray from Phoenix Dice. If you enter ! And if you hit, let's try this again. If you type in ! enter, you will be entered to win a book. Can you remind me of the title of the book, Stephen? Because I just left my mind.
Find my way.
Hope you're
home.
muted.
Can't find
My way home.
Can't
find my way home.
Can't find my way
Which, if
home.
you listened at the beginning, is a very engrossing sounding ghost story set in the counterculture period of the 1970s from a really cool publisher. So that is !enter. That one is for USA only, correct?
Yep.
Okay, and you can also enter to win that book on our Discord. If you go join the Discord and you go into the giveaways channel, you will find more information there. And on top of that, we are currently raising money for IRC to benefit refugees in Ukraine during the current conflict invasion. Let's just say it. At this point, we have raised $120 of our $500 goal. We will be running this for multiple weeks. I hope that we not only meet that goal, but we have to raise that goal so that we can donate more money to a really wonderful charity during a really difficult time.
Yeah, thank you to the people who've donated so far. We really appreciate it.
Great, thank you. We really do appreciate it. And with that, if everybody's ready,
for those who need to know where the donation is, basically, if you are watching us through your PC, you can just scroll down on the channel page, and you should see like a big rectangle that links to the IRC. Otherwise, if you're looking at it on the phone, I think, I don't know what it looks like on the phone, but it doesn't show the panels quite as nicely, so you might have to actually navigate over to our page on our website.
Just pop over to a computer for a second. It's for a good
right
cause.
in the middle. Yep.
And all our faces are bigger on it too, so bonus.
If that's what you're into, yeah.
Big faces, my thing.
Is that not a universal thing? I just found out something weird about myself. Okay. So for right now, we are going to leave Matfei's classroom, and we are going to instead go to Artemisia. Artemisia, you said you would like to go to the woods. So I am curious, how are you going to the woods? Are you going as Artemisia? Are you going to turn to the wolf immediately? What's your plan here?
So she gets out of what she thinks is sightline of the caves before she changes. And then she turns into a wolf, and through the telepathic bond, she gives them a little bit, sort of like, okay, so these trees, they smell really good, and I'm gonna go over there because that's what I gotta do. So I'm just gonna be running, and it's cool. And then she sets off.
All right. So the Ashenwood begins abruptly on the other side of a pasture, and you smell the sheep at the far end, but that's not what is calling to you. you reach a line of firs and larches, and quickly it grows thicker. The paths through here are mostly game trails. These aren't there's not very. It's not like the roads. This is a wild place. But as you move, you can smell rabbits down there and all kinds of birds that the wolf has never smelled before. Everything here is different. This is not Westgate. This is someplace new. You smell spring flowers that are kind of peeking out of the snow. That crisp snow smell is still there, but there's this fragrance and everything is waking up. And as the wolf, you can actually kind of feel that magic feeling that you had when you crossed Lake Ashane, when you crossed the river. It's stronger. You can feel spring happening almost. It just makes you want to run. And so I'm assuming at this point that is just unfolding in you. It just, it feels so good. So you follow these paths up the slope. You follow that feeling because there's a sense that something's watching you.
No.
But when you look, you don't see anything. And when you smell birds and little animals and a deer. There's definitely a deer up there.
She could chase it, but she's running to go somewhere, so she shouldn't chase the deer, and she wouldn't catch it anyway because she doesn't have a pack. So she's gonna keep going.
Okay. So you turn away from the deer. You control it. You come up the slope. You come to like a big gray boulder. You follow that feeling around the boulder, and there's a path that definitely leads up into the mountain proper. And what's waiting on that path is a coyote.
Ooh.
But a coyote that's bigger than you, bigger than anything you've ever seen before. And it may be that in the back of the wolf's brain, there's Artemisia saying, this is a strange kind of thing, because coyotes they're desert creatures. But you can remember Tsetseliya when she talks about the koi wolf saying, well, it's a Rashemen forest coyote. But this one is glowing blue. And actually its eyes seem to be flames that pour up out of its head. And it looks down at you, and that is a big coyote. It says, you're not what I was expecting. Where's my offering?
So the wolf is gonna immediately go into sort of not like abject submission, but definitely a submissive posture as far as canids go, if that translates between wolf and coyote. But offering, gonna turn back into Artemisia, half elf, and be getting it out of her bag, like sort of automatically, like, oh, I know how to deal with this. And then I think she's gonna kind of like freeze, because the wolf was like, okay, this is a little scary, but like I know what I'm doing here. And Artemisia is just like, oh crap, what is happening? Where am I? What's going on? But then she's gonna get out the offering and put it down and say, I didn't mean to bother you. Here's your offering.
It kind of looks at it and it nudges it, and it looks at you, and you hear its voice in your head very clearly. It says, this is someone else's offering. You are a hunter. I want a hunter's offering.
Yes, I can do that. What would you say is worthy of you? I don't know if I could get a whole deer, but like a rabbit or.
It kind of laughs. It says, who needs a deer? You show me, little hunter. You show me.
All right. So she's not gonna like leave the offering there. She's gonna put it back before she turns back into a wolf.
It's probably a good idea.
Okay. And the wolf is sort of like on much firmer ground, and it's kind of like, oh wow, of course, yeah, I can get you something. It'll be great.
Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. Make me some kind of perception check. See what the wolf can find.
Yeah.
You could do like perception or
Yeah, well, perception works. It's not gonna be super high.
investigation. I guess you're looking for a particular thing.
That's an 8.
An 8. You're gonna have to go a little further.
Okay.
Okay, so you go deeper in the woods. You can roll with advantage now.
Okay. Well, I'll just 14.
14. Okay. There is what smells like a bird, like maybe a partridge, like a fat one though. I mean, you hear it kind of move. Make me like it's survival or investigation.
Okay. Survival's a little bit better. So that is 16.
Okay. So you're creeping along. You do see it. Like it's actually a pair of partridges, and they're big fat ones. You're thinking this wolf feels pretty good about this one. This feels like this is gonna be the thing. So you need to attack it. With a 16, I will give you a +2. Because you're being real sneaky. You're coming up at the right angle. So go ahead and make some kind of a melee attack.
Okay. Uh, 17, so 19.
You actually get both of them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna like pick them up in your jaws, or you're gonna turn to Artemisia and bring them back.
No, in the jaws.
Okay. You bring them back to the wolf, or to the coyote spirit. My apologies. And set them down. You do the same kind of like bowing.
Yeah, and
Moving.
sort of like head down, tail pretty low body submission.
The coyote grabs the bigger one and just like tosses it and like champs it, and it's coming out of its mouth. But it takes its paw and it kicks the other one toward you.
Oh yes, she's gonna chow down.
So like while you're eating,
have we been getting anything through like the mental link?
So definitely, I think when she first saw the coyote spirit, she was like, "Oh, that's big," and she didn't say what it was. And then,
That's a really interesting thought to suddenly just receive.
and then she's gonna be like, "Oh, I gotta find something. Oh, birds. Okay, cool. Yeah, got him." I think that's probably what you're gonna get.
I love it. So the coyote is watching you. And so while you're chowing down on the partridge, it kind of chuckles to itself. It says, "Your spirit smells like hers a little,
Oh,
but you're..."
did you mean my sister?
Is that the other pup?
Yeah, or my brother, but no, my brother wasn't here. So you meant my sister.
Oh, I've smelled him before.
Oh,
But the little
okay.
one.
Yeah.
You're different, though. You're a quicker hunter, wolf dragon.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're...
She was a wolf better than me. Well, she's kind of a wolf like you, but she's a little bit better at being a wolf, or I'm better at being a wolf. I don't know, but I'm a better hunter. That's cool.
Yeah, she's a clumsy pup. She's a clumsy pup that needs a big snarl. It makes a big noise.
Yeah.
But not you. You're all action, but you don't act, do you? The dragon sleeps. The wolf stays hungry. Your enemies have such tender throats. It's such a pity.
Oh.
Do you like your partridge?
Yes, it's really tasty. Thank you.
Thank you for the offering.
We're supposed to know things about my sister. Do you know why she would be evil instead of how she is?
There's different ways to protect yourself. I helped her twice. I took the wolf gift the first time so she could hide, and then I gave it back so she could hunt. She's tricky, and she's tenacious, and I like that. There's something about her that the spirits, they feel drawn to. I think it's my sisters and brothers that helped her out when the masked ones came.
Oh.
I see something like that in you. But who knows when you're bundling it all up under a skin you don't like.
Well, but they're not supposed to know about my mother. So, and my mother is a wolf. So that's why I'm not letting them see me.
Your mother is a wolf, but your mother has a mask, doesn't she?
Yeah.
But it's not like those other masks.
No, they don't like her.
They don't. They like their rules. But not everybody with a mask follows the rules. You want to know something about your sister?
Yes.
I'll tell you a secret that none of them know.
Yeah.
She went to the Endless Wastes. That's where I found her, where I gave her back the wolf gift. But she didn't run from here. She was running from the opposite side of the lake.
Okay.
You might want to see what's on the opposite side of the lake.
Okay. Thank you.
At that point, you hear a crashing in the forest, and the coyote spirit makes another little kind of coughing noise. It sounds almost like a laugh, and then it just evaporates into blue flames. What kind of crashes out of the underbrush seems like it's a bear, but as it kind of comes up on you, it changes into a man. It's kind of a broad-shouldered man with the lighter hair, and he's wearing one of the masks on his hip, and he's staring where the coyote just disappeared. And then he looks down at you, like he's not sure what you're doing there. Are you gonna stay as the wolf?
She's gonna stay as the wolf, I think. Because since
Okay.
he's already seen her.
He's gonna kind of put his hands up, back up. He's gonna kind of like take out his axe, keep backing up, because he thinks you're an actual wolf.
Okay.
And if you don't make any kind of...
She's gonna talk to him. She doesn't know that, she doesn't really understand that most people can't understand her. But so she's gonna sort of be like, no, it's okay. I was talking to a spirit, but you can do whatever you're doing. And I'm glad you're not actually a bear, because I don't want to deal with a bear. So if he doesn't have beast speech, he'll get some sort of...
I'm gonna pause real quick. Eric, the music's not on.
Oh, darn. Okay. I can't always tell necessarily. Sorry, everybody. I'm
Look
new
at
to
your
this.
messages, Eric.
Sorry, I was just doing other stuff. Okay.
He doesn't technically have beast speech, but I'm gonna say he does, because I think that's more interesting. So he sort of startles, and he's like, okay. Are you... You are not a spirit.
No. I talked to one, though. It was really, like, amazing.
They're very impressive. Why are you talking to me? Usually the wolves don't want anything to do with people.
Well, I'm not like all a wolf. I'm also a half elf, but I guess that's kind of a secret. I don't know. The half elf, she doesn't want me to say stuff, but you seem nice.
Thank you. Can you be the half-elf?
Okay. So she's gonna turn into the half elf again, and then the half elf is gonna be like, "Oh God, what is happening? No, what have I gotten myself into?"
Do the others know you're here?
Which others? The other vremyonni or my friends?
The other vremyonni. What friends?
Were you not here when my friends and I arrived?
1 second, guys. Sorry. Death of the AirPods. I didn't charge them quite enough. Sorry, Yang Yang. It's gonna be the wire.
Oh, no worries.
Why?
You know, I said I will not apologize for any.
Uh-oh. Are you muted now? Yep. One moment while we stomp some gremlins.
Yep.
Heard you for a second.
I think this is when like Stong goes through on the telepathic bond, like, hey Artemisia, remember that one conversation we started in the middle of like combat that one time that we never got to finish? What was it that you were saying? And then
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. It gets fussy.
To be continued.
Okay. So, there's Zoom. Okay. So, he's like, no, I was patrolling. Are you supposed to be here?
So, come back with me, and I'm sure all your brothers will explain. We explained in detail. We are allowed to be here. We're waiting for the witches to arrive. But
You're not a witch, are you? Or you're a very
No.
pretty witch.
thank you. Could you keep it between us? This wolf part?
Depends. Are you actually a Thayan spy?
No.
Then
I live in Westgate.
Westgate. That's a funny name.
It's an
It might be
interesting place.
funnier in Rashemen. Yeah, okay. If it's personal, it's just personal. You just come with me. And he leads you through the forest. He clearly knows his way. And it's probably, like, the wolf could have found her way out of here. Let's be clear. The wolf could have found her way out of here, no problem. She might have taken a little bit of a detour, pounced some birds, eat a rabbit, smelled
Yeah, get the feathers
interesting.
out from between her teeth now.
Yeah. But he introduces himself as Clement. And I will type that in the chat because sometimes seeing the word is better.
Yeah.
Clement.
Everybody suddenly has name tags. Thank you.
Fair guy. Oh, Artemisia! I'm the worst. I made a pretty picture for you. And I forgot to put the thing on it. So wait, here, everybody look.
Ta-da!
There's the clearing. There's the clearing where the coyote spirit and Artemisia shared a snack. There we go.
Nice.
Okay.
Ooh.
Now you're going back to there. So he introduces himself as Clement. He is one of the vremyonni. Clearly he is specializing in transmutation. And he will walk back with you, and if you are only looking for small talk, he is going to make small talk. Back to the to Running Rocks. In fact, if you tell him that you have friends here, he's gonna try to find those friends.
Okay. Yeah.
Does that sound like we want to?
Yeah.
Or you want to talk to him?
Well, why don't we do the talk after the class first?
Okay.
Get back to the others.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, so Mate. So you have sent the children off to fly around on the Pegasus. And Sevastyan, you left the interview. Do you go seek out Sturge and Stong, or are you planning on going somewhere else?
Well, since I don't have an obvious place to go yet, they're still sorting that out. I suppose I should go find Sturge and Stong and make sure they haven't got into any bigger trouble than they were already in. So yeah.
Okay. So people tell you they went with Matt Faye, so you can go.
Oh, good. This is
Yeah.
this is
All
good.
things considered.
It could be worse.
So you guys are talking to Matt Faye. Sevastyan is going to come in and join you, but he says, "Okay, you want to talk about Ilya?"
Ilya, top student?
Sorry, I must have swallowed squirrel.
You don't have room to talk, boy. I taught Tsetseliya when she was a child. She was bright, but easily bored. There's a sort of kid you don't. It's anyone's guess what they'll understand, and what they're going to struggle with. It's a challenge. You want to find the thing that they have aptitude at, because if they're here, they have aptitude with something.
Did she?
But it was always.
Did she seem distracted? Did you ever think she had other things that were more concerning to her than school, perhaps at home?
I mean, she is the child of Brother Lazar, so that's, if I'm being honest, I always expected that this inconsistency, that it has something to do with Lazar, is odd. We don't do this to say, this is my son, he lives with me. We are all brothers here. And when the elf son shows up, Lazar says, this is my child, he stays with me. And now, of course, we all understand what was being hidden, but, well, it's an extraordinary thing. That was 14 years. 14 years and nobody noticed. That we have a little girl running around in the running rocks. Well, he looks at Sevastyan, he's like, most of us didn't notice.
I did not notice for 13 years.
But this, I think, Lazar, he says, no, you don't move out. It's, we make them very small when we first notice that they have the skills, because this is what we are for. We make the weapons for Rashemen. So we teach them how to do this. And she did not come to the dormitories. And then when she was, I think, 6, Brother Igor called on the Oslor wise mother Daria to examine the child, to see is there aptitude here, or are we sheltering perhaps a cuckoo's egg, something that doesn't belong here. And Alphalar Daria, she says, this Ilya will be an old one. He will be a vremyonni. And the child was very excited to move to the dormitories with the other boys, to be a child, to learn, to be a brother, not someone's son. And I showed the dormitories to him, and I thought, he is proud. He is Lazar's son, most definitely. And he looks at Sevastyan, he's like, you are there. I told you to, take him back to get his things. But you knew he was strange. And the next day, he was too scared. He said, I cannot sleep here. And Lazar said, oh, the child has nightmares. He cannot sleep there. He cannot be away. He will disrupt all the other apprentices. It will cause so much troubles. He has to stay. And dispensations were made.
We always thought it's our fault that we teased too much. But,
I mean, that kid, yeah, the boys, they fight sometimes. But, and there are some special enemies. That Brother Yuli, when he was a boy, he and Brother Ilya, Thought it like the salmon and the eagle. But whatever, you lead this out. Ilya. Yeah, that boy the girl, she had a lot of... She got him better than he got her.
It's true. He is somewhat taller now. It is harder for her to get him, except that she's still sharp-tongued as ever.
You have other questions?
At what point did you lose contact with Tsetseliya?
Oh. He looks at Sevastyan like, you didn't tell this story, I see.
They want to hear your story.
I was not there for the event, we'll say. But Tsetseliya and the Tsar, there's a big fight. They're throwing spells, they're shouting. And our friend here, Brother Sevastyan, does the wise thing and summons the witches. The witches, they are not always here, but often, one of our wise sisters is here for, to get more weapons or to visit a brother for personal reasons, or to get advice, or sometimes they choose us to go into battle with them. So there's witches here, and that was the smart move, to go find the witches and say, this is a problem.
Yes,
and this is how
smart move, definitely.
This is how we discover Ilya's, not Ilya. This is how we discovered that the owlet is the hawk, as we say, and that Lazar has been hiding something from the witches for a very long time. It's not the first time, from what I hear, but this is a problem, especially because I think perhaps he's an elf. The elf son might be the thing that connects him back to somebody they don't like very much. So they take him, and they take Tsetseliya, to the Erlingwood. And that's the last we hear. And then there is rumors that they have escaped. Which
How
is
did
not
you
a
feel
thing
about
that
that?
happens.
How did you feel like hearing that she escaped?
Well, for her, it is complicated. I want better for my students. I want better for Ilya. Having a father like that. Brother Igor is right. We should not speak ill of brothers. And it is the custom, I think, perhaps even in your land, we do not speak ill of the dead. But anybody who has an ounce of empathy in them would say the brother Lazar he's not a good man. There is something off about him. He is brilliant. He has done much for the defense of Rashemen. But he is a tyrant in his blood. He is a tyrant who will never be in charge of anything. Because that is not our way.
You are wise as ever, Brother Matvey.
And you are muted as
You are
ever,
a flat.
Sturge.
I have a question. This may seem strange, but I have been admiring your masks. And
Thank you.
they seem to be,
Sebastian's going, Sturgeon's going to say something now. Oh no.
and I wonder, are there all sorts of animals figured? Are there ravens, eagles, golden ravens, anyone?
Golden raven, is that a...
It's
Do you have those?
well, it's special, I suppose. I wonder, is there anyone who has a golden raven mask or a golden boar's mask? Or
Oh, Sturge, maybe you could show with your illusion what the Golden Raven's mask looked like.
like this?
Just say it's a gold mask. It doesn't have any... How do you know who this is? This it's almost your... I only know rumors of things, but it almost looks like a Durthan mask on you.
I'm sorry, a what mask?
A Durthan.
What is a
You don't
Durthan?
know these?
No.
Tell us.
I had no reason to tell them that story.
is well, it's not a thing we like to talk about a lot. So there are the Wiklaren, the witches. They are in charge of everything, really. But they keep Rashemen safe. They use the magic and the spirits, and they keep it safe. Some people, they say, we don't need to defend Rashemen, we need to attack. We need to strike first. And this is not our way. We don't do this. But some people who have the magic, who can talk to the spirits, they don't mind that it's a dark thing, that it's not what the magic's for. And they strike first. These are the Durthans. If we are the owls and the Wiklaren are the hawks, they're like the crows. Does you understand?
Yes. Yes. And golden, is that a thing they prefer golden masks or?
You see them have masks with no symbols. Just a flat face.
They are hiding their identities, you see. Masks very, you know who person is because of mask.
There's no features, no crow face, no eagle face, no...
They
owl.
do that too. They are what's the word? Chaotic.
Unpredictable.
And where are they? Are they in Rashemen?
I mean, they would tell you, yes, they are always in Rashemen, all of Rashemen. They hide from the witches because they are... You do not want to look into this. This is... I shouldn't have said.
Oh, I only... So they're everywhere and nowhere.
They're not here. They're definitely not here. I can say that for sure.
We would know for sure.
I think we
Mostly
need to
because
ask
they're all
more.
women.
Right.
What's that?
I think we need to ask more about the Durthan. What might they do to a young girl?
Oh, well, it depends. Is it a girl? Is it they may recruit her? They may use her for whatever dark purpose. I hear they do human sacrifices, like the Nar demon binders, and I hear that sometimes they trade with Thay, because they say we can have better weapons from Thay. And I hear that sometimes they turn into ghosts in the night. But I don't know. I tell you, I don't know because I don't leave this place.
Do they use any particular kind of magic, like chronomancy or anything like that?
Chronomancy? Oh, look at this guy. That is forbidden.
Oh, is it?
The hidden one says no to chronomancy.
So
That's
the,
Good one. Good
Do
one,
you know
Sturge.
someone who does chronomancy?
Forbidden, but not. But definitely exists.
the Durthan would possibly, because they are chaotic, yes.
I mean, maybe. But that is, I mean, you have the hidden one, I think, in your lands. He's the goddess of magic. She says no to this. It causes problems.
Oh.
I mean, do you know someone who's done this?
I
Maybe.
worry that it's a danger.
Is it Lazar?
No. It's not Lazar.
Maybe.
Lazar quite dead.
Lazar is definitely... Well, perhaps I say too much. We don't wish to
That's
speak
good to
ill
know.
of Brown.
It's good to know.
So Stong remembers that in a conversation with Tsetseliya, she once told him of a time that she spent with the Durthan, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Okay.
really?
Yeah. So this was like back in the Astral Sea. So that's like book 1 stuff, right? But
Yep. I think if you cast your mind back, she tells you about being betrayed by a Durthan, and showed you a scar on her leg that came out of that particular betrayal.
I think,
But
yeah.
as Matfi said, there's no Durthans here.
So I think Stong will
Sebastian's
share
getting
some
more and
of
more
that
anxious.
info.
Just like,
Yeah, I think Stong will share some of that info, like especially with Sturge. But he would also say, like, imagine if you were a young girl, just taken from everything that you've known, and you fled, and you were captured by the Durthan. What sort of pact might they make with you? And what sort of betrayal might occur? Because I have good reason to believe that Tsetseliya experienced one of these things.
And you're saying that out loud to the teacher.
Yeah.
Oh.
well,
Do you think
Sevastyan
you-
stands straight up. He's like, I am sure Tsetseliya never has anything to do with Durthan. No, that is no, I cannot believe that.
I mean, Tsetseliya said a lot of things, and a lot of things may or may not have been true. Probably not true.
This is
But I felt like
the only
that one
aptitude
was.
Ilya ever had. Lying.
I mean, maybe that was a lie,
is
but it
not
didn't
fair,
feel like
Brother
one.
Matfei. That is not fair.
Tell me, Brother Song, what are you thinking?
I mean, she's told a lot of lies, but that one didn't feel like a lie. I mean, could we just talk hypothetically? Let's just say, like, maybe not Tsetseliya?
What
Not
nonsense.
Tsetseliya.
Just some any girl gets stolen.
Okay.
Or
Be stolen
goes
by
with the
the Durthan.
Durthans.
You think the Durthan stole Tsetseliya, or not Tsetseliya, rather, not Tsetseliya,
Not
out of the
Tsetseliya, right.
Erlingwood?
Maybe.
What might one of them want with her? What could she do for them? What kind of deal might they cut her?
I don't.
You mentioned human sacrifices, you mentioned...
I mean, these are rumors. He's really thinking. And he says, there's so many stories about how Lazar and Ilya disappeared from the Erlingwood. But you cannot tell me that the Wicklaren will just sit down and let the Durthans roll up and steal them from under their noses. But there's rumors. You should not speak ill of brothers.
No, but just hypothetical brothers.
Yeah,
Give me a persuasion check.
heck yeah,
Either
let's
of you, or
go.
both of you, or all three of you.
Let's do a helping. How's your
Maybe I'll help you. Because,
okay. All right, he's helping me. There we go.
Okay.
oh,
How's that
nice.
look?
He looks
Be
around.
25.
And makes sure that there's no kids nearby. They don't need to hear this.
They're all
and
on
he says-
Pegasus land.
Lazar was. I will say this. He's very smart. He's very talented. He makes many marvels, things I cannot do. But there are rumors. Yeah, we don't leave here. Not really. But in battle, we go with the witches. And sometimes we are given permission to go abroad, to go find things. Lazar went out to find star medals. Do you know these?
Mm-hmm.
They come from the sky and they make very powerful weapons. And there were reports. They fall in the north. And he goes there, and he comes back. And 3 years later, there is this elf son. And I hear rumors when he's gone that there is a Durthan. There is an elf Durthan, if you can believe it. That Lazar knows. That Lazar knows. And this, I think, if it were anyone else, I would say no. But Lazar, there is so many rumors of Lazar and what Lazar is willing to do for magic. He looks around, he's like, has anyone told you about the apprentice?
No.
It's an old story, but it's one of those times that you think this is the man. You hear a story, you hear a tale, and you think this is the man. When Lazar was younger, before the maybe Durkins. In fact, this I hear is maybe part of why he left. But remember, I'm very young when this happens. Something went wrong. Nobody would speak of it, but they would whisper, and maybe it's not Lazar's doing, but in the woods there is an angry spirit, and an apprentice died. They say, oh, it's because you did not appease the spirit properly. But I see everybody looking at Lazar, and I think perhaps this is Lazar's fault.
Oh, like purposefully set it up that way?
Who can say? I was not there, but this is the man who does not care what his actions reap. He does not think of what will happen to people. And so if someone is going to go and speak to the Durthans and perhaps lie with the Durthans, it is Lazar. And so perhaps there is this. Perhaps there is a Durthan who will claim Ilya when Ilya is lost. Perhaps there is a Durthan that knows Ilya is one of the old ones, in a sense. Perhaps they think, oh, she has the knowledge that we would like, how to make the weapons. Perhaps they think they can make a trade. Maybe the witches will want her back and they will give something good to get this one. This little owlet that is actually a hawk.
I was talking about a hypothetical. Thank you. Thank you for telling me the actual.
Sometimes I have no time for stories.
I wonder
Sometimes
if-
you have much time for stories.
Is it possible that Lazar would trade his grown son, daughter, for magic with Durthans after the Erlingwood?
This is where the witches are. Yeah, good. Your pronunciation is very good.
The Durthan witches are
The
there.
Durthan witches are not in the Erlingwood.
Oh.
That is where the Wicklaren are.
Ah,
That is where they have sent, so the witches will come here and decide if you are allowed to leave this place. I don't think the witches would, the Durthans, I don't know. Perhaps her mother would take it. I don't know her. I don't know how they do these things.
Is there a leader of the Durthan, that's well known?
I don't know this.
Yeah. Is that the kind of thing that the Wicklaren know?
I suspect that everything they can know about the Durthan, they know.
Yeah, I think I don't have any more questions, Sturge.
Yeah, thank you. You've been very, very forthcoming.
Yeah.
Thank you for teaching my children to make silly replicas of me. That will make them interested when we start talking about illusions later, and often they are very bored by it.
My pleasure.
So Artemisia, you come back up with them. Clement is with you. We are at about 9 o'clock. You could, if you want to talk to Clement, you can talk to Clement, or we could stop right here.
Well,
You can also just share what you know. I forgot about that part.
Yeah, I think we need to debrief with each other a little
Yeah.
Okay,
before
perfect.
we end the night. Also, welcome, Raiders. The network is rated with 15 people.
Artemisia on the walk once asked if Clement knows Tsetseliya, but then she won't go deep into it. She's just curious if they knew each other.
Do you ask Tsetseliya? I guess actually, at this point, I think Clement would know Tsetseliya. And he looks very surprised. He goes, do you know Tsetseliya?
She's my sister, half sister.
Oh, oh. He looks at you for a minute and he's like, do you have the chin?
That's about it. Yeah.
She doesn't She never says anything about me.
She never says anything about anybody.
Oh, that's too bad. Well, I would, when we were we were children, yeah, she was my best friend.
Hmm.
She never says any, that's, I suppose that's fair. She was very brave, and very daring. She, before we were really friends, she rescued. I used to not be quite so big. I was maybe a little fat too, and they picked on me, the older boys, and one time they stole my book. They are playing. We call it Demon in the Middle. You throw it back and forth.
Keep away.
Yeah, she did a trick. She did a trick where she made it sound like Lazar's voice, shouting at them, and calling them like out for being lazy, and they all jumped. And she ran up and she grabbed my hand and she grabbed that book. She hit that boy in the face with the book, broke his nose.
It sounds
And
like her.
we ran and I was so surprised because Lazar was going to find out that she did that, but I mean,
Well, don't feel bad. She
oh, that's
she was hurt a lot, I think, as a kid, and so I think she'd like to forget it, but then she can't. So it's not you; it's that you
it
were somewhere
might
that
be a little me. She used to try to run away. She tried a lot to run away. Lazar, he always caught her. And I thought she was strange. It didn't seem like she always remembered she'd ran away. And but then, we were 14 or so. She just stopped doing it. It seemed like things were going to be okay. But she told me she wanted to learn a spell. It's I think you call it Charm Person, and that she wanted to use it on Lazar. And I thought, this is too far. So I told my mother. She's one of the witches, Sister Agathia. I told her we have a problem. But your mother misunderstood the problem, and she told Lazar.
Oh.
We weren't so good friends after that.
Yeah.
And and Sevastyan picked her when that happened. Then I don't have so many friends.
Oh,
but
I'm
then
sorry.
I guess I was never that good a friend. She didn't tell me her big secret.
That's Tsetseliya. It sounds very like her.
Yeah.
And back to small talk. Until we go back in.
Oh, sorry. Here we are.
Yep.
I think your friends. Yes, they're. Shall I walk you up?
If you like.
So he walks you up. You ask around. You get the sense your friends are in the classroom. Clement walks in and sees Sevastyan and just freezes.
Yeah, Sevastyan looks at him like,
Oh.
brother.
So you know, brother. I'm glad you're not dead. They said you were probably dead.
They were probably right, but in this case, no. I thank you, and you look well.
I will not lie and tell you this time.
No, I look terrible, it's true. You do not need to tell me otherwise. You are being good host to our guest?
I'm
Yes,
trying.
he's been very kind.
Good. He's not always so kind.
I'm not the one that got her caught. It's very nice to meet you, my sister Artemisia.
Nice to meet you.
And he's gonna walk off.
Nice.
If you guys want to debrief, this is a wonderful time to do it.
Yeah, definitely. Man. So I think through the mental lake, Stong is gonna chat with the other two, and he's like, "Oh man, we gotta really talk about some of the things that like Sturgeon and I learned. Do you think that we should talk in front of Sevastyan too? I think he's trustworthy, but I don't know."
Muted.
What's that, Sturge?
Your mental leak is clogged.
And he has some insights into the culture that we lack.
Yeah.
So he would catch our mistakes.
Sebastian's just looking at the three of them.
We're all just
This is
exchanging meaningful
awkward.
looks at each other. Okay, so maybe if we escort Sevastyan back to like one of the side cave rooms, Stong's gonna drop a silence around the room so that noise doesn't leak through.
Perfect. And Sevastyan, you know exactly the right place.
Yep.
It's a little tucked away, not super. It's like looks like maybe somebody stored some like extra chairs or something that they forgot about, but otherwise it's empty.
Mm-hmm. Tsetseliya and I had many places. She probably knew more than I did. This is quiet place.
I love it. You found one of your old hookup spots.
Yeah, Stong's not gonna sit down anywhere. He's just like, okay.
Look, it was years
Many
ago.
Yeah, but a good hookup spot. She
Our
knows somebody else is
gelatinous
coming
cube
in.
has come
There's
through
great
since.
Yeah, like make out peak, like yeah. So Artemisia.
This is Romance Ridge.
Yeah. Artemisia, you have to dish. What was real big? You have to tell us.
a spirit. And she's gonna turn to Sevastyan and be like, you said the offering, but it wasn't the right offering. I kind of freaked out.
I didn't think you'd meet such powerful spirit. I told you not to go in woods, but you go in woods.
Well,
Because
The
you like your
wolf
sister.
wanted to
You're
go.
so willful.
it was a coyote spirit, and
The coyote spirit. Oh, good, great.
Was that a good thing? Did you like make friends? Or...
Well, it didn't kill her, so apparently.
it seemed to find the wolf amusing. I mean, the more I think back on it, the more I'm terrified, but it worked out and the wolf liked it a lot. But the important thing among everything it said, I think, was that it said we should check the other side of the lake. That
The other side of the...
Tsetseliya didn't go to the frozen wastes from here, that she went from the other side of the lake, so we should go there. But I'm assuming that probably people here don't want us to go there. Is it secret, Sevastyan?
What is on the other side of the lake? Is it the Yearling Wood?
It is not.
Okay.
Sevastyan, you know, Erlingwood is to the north. It is.
Can you pull up the map
I'm
again
not-
on roll 20?
Yeah, actually, let's pull up the map. You're tired of looking at the cave houses?
It is on
Okay.
the side of lake. You can see it. It's not
So,
that secret.
the sort of the other side of the lake, the Eric Forest and the Firewood Mountains are still technically Rashemen. It is not
Right.
central Rashemen. And that as you go into the Great Dale, you're not in Rashemen anymore, Sevastyan. You know that. Like,
Right.
you know, I'm not, you're not sure, I think, the exact path Lazar took you out of, but you know this, that Rashemen is within a certain bounds, and that is where you can feel the spirits. The Erlingwood is to the north of Running Rocks. And you probably have like a day for the message to get there and a day for the witches to come here, with some amount of delay in the middle depending on how important they actually think you are. But that is where the witches live. The other side of the lake, yeah, is is wilderness.
There's
Well, I will say you three never lucky. So witches come soon, I'm sure.
I mean, that might be a good thing because from our
You
conversation.
think so, huh?
Well, I mean, it seemed like we had to go find them at some point based upon our conversation.
The last
That's
time we had
strange.
much interaction with witches, they took away Tsetseliya. So
so
maybe you have better luck.
is it? I wasn't sure if the teacher was saying that Tsetseliya's mother was an elf Durthan. Did I get that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd heard that before.
And was
Durthan are bad.
but is that
Kalis.
not Gathach?
So Kayla's father said that Skaha was a Durthan, and that's the first time, Artemisia, that you heard that word, and you saw Tsetseliya get very flustered about it.
Wait.
Oh,
I
so
thought she
Tsetseliya
was
went
a-
to find her mother.
Wicklerin.
What
Can
about
she-
the Wicklerin?
I thought Skaha. Isn't Skathach and Skaha the same person?
Yeah, Skathach is just how you spell Skaha.
Oh, okay.
Weird elf language.
Sorry,
That's the
Ireland.
thing.
Anyway,
Okay, Skaha was a Wicklerin, right?
No,
No.
Skaha was a Durthan, and there's an important difference.
I
The Wicklerin are like the ruling class. They are like, imagine this: they are the waffle nest witches. They are charged with the protection of Rashemen, so they defend Rashemen.
yeah.
The Durthan are like Wicklerin that have said, maybe instead we go first strike. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe we should even be pushing the borders out. You know, who's to say the Great Dale isn't Rashemen? It's just not Rashemen yet. But also, like, Rashemen has historically had a lot of enemies attacking it. So the Durthan are the enemies of the Wicklerin because they're making messes, basically. And they're willing to do things. I think Matt Fay implied enough that they're willing to do things the Wicklerin wouldn't.
Like
Yeah.
forbidden magic, of which chronomancy is forbidden.
and Sebastian's obviously very uncomfortable with anything regarding the Durthans. I hope I brought that across.
Well, now you
Sebastian,
know
I
how
think-
I feel, Sebastian, standing in this room, your make-out spot.
Sebastian, I think that you could probably add in that what the Durthan are known for is, so the witches can sort of tap into the spirit magic, but the Durthan can kind of bend it to their will and bind the spirits in dark ways. And
Right.
that this is the thing that is anathema. This is what cannot stand.
Right.
So
And I would explain all of that. And I would do it in a way that would tell you all that this is the darkest, evilest, vilest, terriblest shit ever. And you'd go, oh, fascinating.
Which really, all of you have seen so much dark, terrible, evil shit that you're like, is that really the worst?
and so the injury that Tsetseliya got could have been from her mother.
That was my big question mark, was that did her mother think that she betrayed the Durthan and then wounded her, or was it a different Durthan?
So, I mean, Artemisia knows that Tsetseliya never met their mother until the first time. I mean, after she was a small child and dropped off. The first time was, when they first met on stream. So it
that's
was
true.
She spoke to me about the Durthan, and she said that they, and Rhiannon is also casting her mind back, just like Artemisia is casting her mind back, that they would make you trust them, and then they would betray that trust. I don't know about an injury, but so it sounds like she went to them. I mean, who wouldn't? Lazar is terrible, and everyone here didn't stop him. So it sounds like she went to the Durthan, but then the Durthan were terrible also.
I'm guessing the Durthan are on the other side of the lake.
That sounds like it to me.
Yeah. At first, I thought we'd have to find the Wiclaran, and then the Wiclaran would tell us where the Durthan are. But it sounds like this spirit is giving us the inside track.
For whatever spirit's own motives might be. But
maybe it's to help unbind some spirit friend that it's got.
Oh, that's a good point.
You are seeking the Durthan. That is your plan, yes?
Yes.
Seems to be our ultimate goal so far.
You don't have to come if you're chicken. You don't have to come.
Oh, buck, baka.
I am not familiar with this phrase. What are you saying? If I am plump and feathery?
If you're too scared, like a chicken, you
scared
startle
of
it,
the
it runs away.
Durthans? Oh yes, I am very scared of the Durthan. You should be scared of Durthan too. But you are not because you are stupid.
Well, it's not because we're stupid. I think it's because we're doing what we must do to help our friend.
I suppose. Sorry, I did not mean any offense.
No,
Perhaps my clarifications and explanations have not been sufficient. I did not want to see you dead or tortured by Durthan.
I wonder if the Golden Raven, Tsetseliya, if it was with the Durthan that their paths diverged. Tsetseliya went this way, fleeing the Durthan. The Golden Raven stayed with the Durthan.
That makes sense to me.
Could be.
So maybe that's where the paths. That's the moment we're looking for, something there.
There's something I don't understand about the spirit binding versus like the sacrificing, because it didn't seem like the Golden Raven was like calling upon like a time spirit for that sort of magic.
Mhm.
Like these spirits here are more natural, right? Like primordial forces. So we haven't seen any like clock masks or anything. Right?
Well, maybe the Golden Raven started small and built up because the Golden Raven took the powers of the Heart of the Piercing.
Oh yeah, absorption.
And that's pretty big and pretty hard, so maybe she started on a few spirits before then.
Where did Tsetseliya meet the Heart of the Piercing? Was it on the other side of the lake? Was it in the winter?
She hasn't said about that.
Sevastyan sitting there saying like, Heart of the Piercing, Heart of the Piercing, Heart of the Piercing. I think...
Yeah, I was thinking we should ask around about that.
You do know that the coyote spirit said it helped Tsetseliya twice. It took the wolf gift from her when she was small, and it gave it back when it decided she needed to hunt. And when it gave it back, she was running from the other side of the lake toward the Endless Wastes.
Okay.
So whether that's after the Heart of the Piercing or not, you do know she was heading that direction.
Well, so Artemisia also does know that Skaha once had a pact with the Heart of the Piercing. So it seems to be a Lythari thing, an elf thing, a Frozen Waste thing, maybe. And so she'll say about Tsetseliya getting her wolf taken away and then given back to the others. So it sounds like the Heart of Piercing is different than the Durthan, but so we've found one stop in the trail, and I don't know if it's the Divergence, but it seems like a valuable one to investigate.
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't tell the Wiclaran that, because it seems like if the Durthan are the Wiclaran's enemies, and the Wiclaran show up here to be like, why are you guys here? What are you doing? And we're like, oh, we're going to go see your enemies. That might not go over well.
I should not be the spokesperson.
Definitely
then.
would not.
Don't let them ask me that question.
What is why did Tsetseliya go to the Endless Wastes? She fled the Durthan to the Endless Wastes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Maybe it was the only direction she could flee.
Well, why not I mean, she'd have to cross a lake.
I mean, the coyote
She
spirit
sound-
said it helped her.
So maybe she was no, she can't have been a wolf at that time because she learned at the same time as me. She knew as a child and then she forgot, I guess, because of the spirit. And then she couldn't do it again until Sarshan and Ruin helped us.
Maybe it helped her a different
Perhaps. Do you really know that, though? Sevastyan says,
Oh.
way. Like, could Tsetseliya be
kind of-
lying?
kind of sadly. Like, I don't know. I'm not helping. I'm sorry.
Well, I
It's
mean,
so-
that's what we're here to find out, I guess.
Yeah. It gets real complicated when your friends don't tell you the truth, huh? Man. All right. Okay.
Yes, it does.
Oh, these
But
sound
it
like
gets
ex-
complicated when you tell other people the truth, too.
What do you mean?
Well, I am the reason Tsetseliya had to leave Rashemen in the first place. I told her secret to others, and they came to claim her, and I have caused much complication with that decision I thought was right, but I am not so sure.
Well, it sounds like. Oh, I was just gonna say, it sounds like we sort of know what we need to do next, but meanwhile, we need to wait for the Wicklern to arrive. So.
Mhm. Did anyone else notice that the boar mask fellow was obsessed about Faye?
Well, they're all asking about that. Clement asked me if I was a Fae. Fae.
Mm.
Assassin.
Sevastyan, you can tell them that is like Rashemen's worst enemy.
Oh, yes.
is Faye.
Yeah.
Faye is constantly attack Rashemen. Theophil particularly hates Faye. Always reminds us every morning we have to recite songs of Rashemen and songs of hate Faye.
well,
If only Faye would calm down and stop bullying smaller neighbors.
Stop marching in zombie armies forcibly into other territories.
Right.
Is
just
the
a military
leader of,
drill. It's just training.
is the leader of Faye? Does their name start with a V?
No, the
Sweet.
leader of Thay is Zastam.
Mm.
His eminence, yeah, he's a lich.
That's an S and a Z. You came close.
Futam? Okay. Anyways,
Anyway,
yeah, I think
Good
before we move on too much, I think Stan just wants to tell Sevastyan, like, I'm sure you feel really guilty about what you did to Tsetseliya, and you are working towards healing that breach between the two of you every day. And if you're not,
Well,
then you gotta do some soul searching.
yes, I think the two of us are ended as friends and companions, and she is a different person now. Grown up, has her own life and her own direction, and I wish to respect that. She seems happier, or maybe just calmer.
okay. It sounds like you guys have some excellent questions to pursue, and a lot of other people that you can bother. Interrogate.
Yeah.
So some of them are even adults.
Yes.
Sevastyan does indeed want to help you. At the end of that, he will say, "But I will continue to help you, even if it means facing witches."
Good. I'm glad you
Uh-uh.
found your bravery.
Again with the bravery. Is this the chicken thing? You hungry?
Oh, yes.
So we'll start in the cafeteria next.
Yes.
But I think that's probably a good place to stop for the night. So we will be back in Rashemen next week
Awesome.
for another round of this and more exploring the Running Rocks. I've been your DM, Erin M. Evans. You can follow me on Twitter at Erin M. Evans. You can join me every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific for Champions of Lore with B. Dave Walters and Trevor Bettis, and on Mondays at 4 p.m. For Idle Champions Presents Court of the Raven Queen, where I play Farida going into the Shadowfell, hoping that B. Dave doesn't murder us all. Both of those are on twitch.tv/CNE Games, the channel of our sponsor, Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. Check them out at idlechampions.com.
Thank you for watching. I am Eric Scott B. I am not DMing next week. We're going to have Erin again. I want to give her all a round of applause because this has been great, and we'll get more of this next week. The adventure continues on our website, and you can find all the links on Discord. Remember that we're raising funds for Ukraine relief. Thank you for putting up with my Slavic accent. I watched a lot of interviews with people speaking with Ukrainian accents to try and emulate that, and I probably did a terrible job, but I want you to know that my heart goes out to all those who are suffering in the world.
And as we said, it may be a terrible Ukrainian accent, but it's a spot-on Rashemen accent, which happens to also occasionally bleed into Swedish accents and some kind of weird Dutch mess,
and
because
I mean,
that's what they said.
If anybody doubts that, I just have one question for you: is, well, have you been to Rashemen?
And I've been Rhiannon Held. My space opera series under RZ Held. The first 4 books are out in print, collected under the book Idyllian, and the 5th book, which is also a great place for new readers to jump in, is coming out April 5th, and that's up for pre-orders now. You can find all that on my website, rhiannonheld.com, my Twitter, and all our different books are on dungeonscholars.com. You can check out various stuff that we've all written. And tonight, thank you to our moderators, Shay, Seldarine, Mardug, and Rumpus Imperator.
Hi, I'm Yang Wang. Thank you so much to everybody who has donated to our campaign to raise money for the International Rescue Committee to help the crisis in Ukraine. Right now, we all know what's going on between Russia and Ukraine, and it is a terrible crisis going on there right now. There are like 1 million displaced Ukrainian refugees fleeing across the border into Europe, and there are countless people suffering in Ukraine itself. So every little bit helps. We appreciate everybody who donated so far, and please, 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 if you are able to, go over to the page and consider donating.
Merlino?
You're muted.
I fixed it.
You got it.
There you go.
I'm Stephen Merlino. You can find our past videos on our YouTube channel, linked on our Twitch page below. Be sure to click subscribe to support us and the bell to get notified as we add new content. And now it is time for our giveaways. First, the books. There's 2 of them. And the books go to J3D1 Trade.
Hey, congratulations!
Hey, nice.
And
Meyer Doug! Yeah!
Nice.
all right.
Congrats.
The other one is
Nice.
goes to, now that there's the dice and the tray, goes to Darawi.
Hey, congratulations!
Hey, nice.
Congrats.
There we. Yeah. There it
You
is.
know your name.
Neither one of our 2 perennial giveaway winners won tonight. Hidden Target and Gray Monk, or Monk of Greyhawk.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Next time.
Congratulations. And they'll get messages in their DMs, right?
Yep.
That's how that works. Cool.
Yeah, but if you didn't win in either of those, they still got a shot. They still got one more shot at the book, right, Steven?
Mhm. Yep. And that's on Discord in the tavern section. Is that correct?
The giveaways and polls.
Giveaways and polls.
Oh,
Right up at the
giveaways,
top.
giveaways and polls. Right.
Join our
Yeah,
Discord,
yeah.
introduce yourself, enter the giveaway. 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
All right.
All right. Until next week. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.